Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Stinky Meek, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.
If you own a business, you know how difficult it can be to get new clients. But what if you had your own sales team? B&I Somerset invites you to join us on Thursday, September 23rd to learn about how B&I Somerset provides a positive, supportive, and structured environment for the development and exchange of quality business referrals. Struggling to find more paying clients or want to take your business to the next level? Our group of business owners have passed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to one another. Want to know how we did it? On Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m., we're hosting an event on Zoom where we show you exactly how B&I Somerset generated client after client for one another and how you could begin to apply the same simple steps to your business too. The reality is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. B&I Somerset is incredible for building your personal brand and ensuring you are known. Join Somerset B&I's Visitor Day on Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. For more info, visit bniwne.com/CT-Northern-Somerset-BNI. Businesses thrive by changing when the world changes, and the world is changing. B&I Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind. It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home serviced for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside swatting those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Jawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Let's say goodbye to all your worries about tax planning, investment troubles, and any confusion when it comes to managing your finances and money. Here at Rocky Hill Accountants, our team has a combined 35 years of experience and will help you do it right. We're dedicated to your needs and will deliver on a result that is professional and trustworthy. Our firm is large enough to offer a full range of professional services, but small enough to give you the individual attention that you deserve. Our business portfolio includes thousands of prepared tax returns for individuals, families, partnerships, businesses, and more. The team at Rocky Hill Accountants are also thoroughly trained in tax laws and procedures. We have the ability to represent taxpayers before the IRS when they arrive at collections, audits, and appeals. This allows us to offer our accuracy and audit guarantee to tax clients. Please visit our website at rockyhillaccountants.com or give us a call at 860-257-4238 to schedule an appointment.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I'm Steve Risser along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And we got a big one Thursday night in the NFC East down in Landover, Maryland, as we got two 0-1 teams going at it, the Giants and the Washington football team. Obviously, the Giants lost their first game of the year, 27-13 to the Broncos. I mean, really 27-7 because, that last touchdown was in garbage time. And, the Giants, I think the biggest takeaway you could take from both teams' opening day losses was their defenses did not play like we expected them to play. The Giants, the last drive before the half, they give up a touchdown. And then the drive that really bothered me about the defense was that first drive of the second half where the Broncos converted three third downs and they end up scoring a touchdown. They end up going up 17-7. Obviously, the Giants still had a chance, but then Daniel Jones does what he usually does. He fumbles the ball, deep in Broncos territory. Broncos get a field goal. Then we don't convert a fourth down, and then obviously they run in for another touchdown and go up 27-7. The game was over after that. Then for Washington, really a surprise defensively. I mean, I don't know if Fitzpatrick got hurt, but I think the big story of the game was their defense did not play as well as people thought. They gave up over 400 yards to the Chargers in that game. Even though they gave up 20 points, they gave up over 400 yards in that game, and they lost the Chargers 20-16. But in this game, I've been going back and forth on this game for a while. I really have between these two teams. I mean, but I think the difference is going to be I know Andrew Thomas played well in that first game, but a big reason why I feel like it's because Bradley Chubb was hurt. Chase Young and Montez Sweat are playing, and I think Saquon Barkley is banged up. He was not good in the game against the Broncos. He was very limited in that game. He has a knee injury right now. I don't know if they're going to bring him back on the field on Thursday night with a short week. And I think that, I think this Washington pass rush is going to take over. I think they're going to force a turnover from Daniel Jones. And on offense, I feel like Taylor Heineke is going to manage the game. He's not going to win the game, but he's going to manage the game and make enough plays for the Washington football team to come up with a victory and beat my Giants 20-13 tomorrow night. But Justin, the question is, can the Giants defense and Daniel Jones do enough to beat Washington for the fifth consecutive time?
I do have the Giants winning 20-17. I didn't like the way the Giants played. I was as well going back and forth. This was probably like the toughest game to pick of the weekend. I think the Giants do get enough pressure. Taylor Heineke, we saw in that wild card game against Tampa Bay. He played pretty well in that game. Threw for over 300 yards. I think the Giants get enough. I think the way the Giants played last week, I think Joe Judge gets on him this week. I think the defense plays a lot better this week. And I think the Giants defense gets enough pressure on Heineke, forces a turnover too. And they do enough short field for Daniel Jones, the offense, to kind of take over and get an easy score too. Again, without Curtis Samuel, I think the Giants secondary is able to kind of shut down Terry McLaurin. And I don't know if the Washington has another guy that will step up in this game. So I'll take the Giants 20-17.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very close, low-scoring game. And I'm standing correct. That was my mistake. This would be, if the Giants win this game, it would be the sixth consecutive win over the Washington football team because they swept them last year, swept them in 2019, and won the last game in 2018. So it would be their sixth consecutive win if the Giants win this game. But, yeah, I think it's obviously going to be a really, really low-scoring game. I just think Saquon Barkley would be a difference in this game. I remember, the last game he played against the Washington football team, he had a huge game against them. I know that they're obviously a much better defense than they were then, but still, linebacker is not a strength of the Washington football team. And I think I think they could use him in the passing. They could have used him in the passing game. If he's healthy, they could use him in the passing game against those linebackers. Obviously if the offensive line can win up front, he could be a threat in the running game too. I just think without him being 100%, I just think this is going to be I mean, listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Giants win and get this win. I feel like the Giants need to get this win, seeing what they got coming up. I know they got Atlanta, but then they got, they got the Saints, Dallas, and the Rams after that. So I think the Giants really need to get this win. I just don't see it happening. I just don't think the defense is going to play as well as we expect them to play, just like last week. And I just think, I think Washington's going to win the battle up front.
I could totally see that happening. Yeah, Saquon didn't look great. They weren't able to really run the ball well at all. But I have confidence in Joe Judge and this team that it is a must win. And if the Giants have any hope of making the playoffs, you can't really start 0-2. I know it's the NFC East and they could rebound from it, but as you mentioned, their schedule is coming up. I think they do enough. I think yeah, the Barkley, kind of is a worry. Yeah, he didn't look totally healthy in that game. They really couldn't get anything going with the run game. But the Giants have kind of had Washington's number here, so I think they're able to do enough. I thought the offensive line Giants played better than it did in the preseason. Again, I know it's going to take some time, and they'll get better by the week. And I think they play a little bit better than they did last week, and I think the Giants find a way to pull this one out.
Should be a very interesting game between those two teams. I mean, should be a really interesting game, and you don't want to be the loser of this game. That's all I got to say. But we got to move on to an AFC East matchup with another divisional matchup with two 0-1 teams, as we got the Patriots heading down to MetLife Stadium to face the Jets. And I think Bill Belichick is going to do what he usually does against rookie quarterbacks. I think he's going to have a really good game plan. I think Zach Wilson's going to struggle. I think he's going to throw a pick or two. I think this is a game where Mac Jones doesn't have to win it. He can just manage the game. The one positive for the Patriots is he played well last week. The reason why the Patriots lost last week was because, again, 1 for 3. Like I said in the preseason with the Patriots, 1 for 3 in the red zone. They kicked 2 field goals in the red zone. When the Dolphins got in the red zone, they scored touchdowns. I think that's going to be a problem for the Patriots all year. But I feel like this is a game that Mac Jones has to win. He can just manage. I think the Patriots defense is going to have a really good game. I think they're going to obviously they're going to force a couple turnovers. And I think Damian Harris will have a pretty good game in the running game. So I got the Patriots going to 1-1 and winning this game 20-10 over the Jets. But Justin, can Zach Wilson beat Mac Jones for his first NFL win?
I don't think they will. I have the Pats winning this one 23-14. As you mentioned, Bill's been great against rookie quarterbacks. He schemes up always a great game plan. Tua was the first one that got him last year as a rookie quarterback in his career. I thought for Zach Wilson in week 1, I thought the game really started to slow down for him in the second half. I thought he played better than he did in the first half. But I really liked the Patriots pass rush last week. Judon, I think he was the one that forced the that late interception to Tua that the Patriots ended up fumbling and ended up losing anyways. But I like Barmore too. He was their rookie out of Oklahoma. He didn't have a ton in the stat sheet, but he was kind of in the backfield and giving the Dolphins problems all game, I felt like. So I think the Patriots will get a pass rush against Jets that they already lost Mikael Beckton.
Oh, I didn't mention that. Beckton's going to be a big loss. I think that's another reason the Patriots defense has a big game is Beckton's a huge factor in this game. His loss is going to be big.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jets really couldn't run the ball either last week. So I think the Patriots are going to do whatever they want. And I think Mac Jones makes enough plays. I thought he played pretty well. Didn't really make any mistakes out there. So the 2 fumbles kind of killed him, as you mentioned, the field goals. So I think the Patriots get it done on the road 23-14.
Yeah, so you were a fan of Mac Jones's performance last week. What made you what did you like most about his performance?
I thought the game to him kind of just the game, the speed of the game really didn't seem to affect him. I like that they took a couple shots with him. They took a couple of deep shots with him. I think he managed the game really well. Again, he did everything he had to do to kind of put the Patriots in position to win the game. I think he made some good throws. I think he controlled the line very well. He looked like he was good in the pocket. He's got a great feel in the pocket. So all around, I thought he played really, really well. And I liked that they tried giving him the game ball, but he said, I don't. They tried after his first touchdown, they tried giving him the ball, and he didn't want it. He said, I'm going to score many more. We got to find a way to win this game. He said so. I like his mentality. So I think the sky's the limit for Mac right now, and he put him in position to win that game last week.
Yeah, I thought he played well. I thought some guys around him didn't help him. I thought Damian Harris, he had a good game, but he cannot fumble that football. You cannot fumble that ball. You're right near the goal line, right about to score. You cannot fumble that ball. I know he's rushed for 100 yards, but that play helped. Was a big reason why they lost that game. So you can't fumble that ball. And Jacoby Myers has got to catch that ball, on third down. He's got to catch that ball too. Those guys got to step up around Mac Jones. That's the issue here. It's been the issue for the last 3 years with the Patriots is these skill guys have. I mean, yes, Damian Harris had a pretty good year last year, and Jacoby Myers was okay, but these skill guys have not stepped up around their quarterback. You want to talk about how bad Cam Newton was not good last year, but also he didn't have help. These skill guys need to step up. That plain and simple. Yeah,
absolutely, they do. I think like Judon's got to get more involved He didn't do much at all. Yeah, Harris has to do it. James White is going to have a much better year as a pass catcher because, the screen's going to work, fits a lot more with Mac than it did with Cam last year. So I think you're going to see a lot more James White this year. But, yeah, like Hunter Henry, you hope he stays on the field. But, Aguilar's your number one you really can't trust. Yeah, Jacoby Myers, he's got to take more. He's not a great wide receiver, but, yeah, times that you stepped up, he's got to make that catch, as you mentioned. He's got to kind of – again, he's not a conventional number 2 wide receiver, but he has to be on this team right now. So, yeah, these guys, if they're going to be a playoff team, yeah, these weapons have to step up. They're paying Nelson Aguilar as a top 25 wide receiver. He's got to play like one. I know he caught the touchdown last week, but, yeah, they need these skill guys. If they want to get anywhere, they need these skill guys to really step up and help Mac Jones because I thought Mac, played well. And, there was a couple throws. I think one was Myers. It was, a little low. But, again, for the most part, yeah, he kind of put the ball where it needed to be. And, yeah, they couldn't really help him out.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens this week. Patriots got to beat the Jets because you see what's coming up for the Patriots. They got 2 brutal home games. They got the Saints, and they got, when we all know, get the home game after that. We don't need to bring that one up. But, yeah, so 2 brutal home games coming up for the Patriots. So they got to win this one at MetLife Stadium on Sunday afternoon. But we're going to stay in the AFC East, and we got an AFC East matchup down in Miami as the Bills, the 0-1 Bills, face the 1-0 Dolphins in Miami. And in this game, I feel like Brian Dable is the reason the Bills lost that game to the Steelers was they got to run the ball. Devin Singletary averaged 6.5 yards a carry. Why are you throwing the ball 51 times and when the Steelers are getting pressure on Josh Allen? So I thought Brian Dable, he's a good offensive coordinator, but he called a poor game on Sunday against the Steelers. So, but I think he's a smart guy. He's going to learn from this, and I feel like the Bills are fine. I think the last 2 losses. The loss in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs and the loss on Sunday, I think they're finally learning that they got to start running the football. Protecting that defense. You can't put it. Josh Allen is a top quarterback, but you can't put it all on Josh Allen. You got to use the running game. I feel like the Bills will give Devin Singletary more carries. I think he's going to have a really good game. I feel like Josh Allen's going to have a good game. And the thing is with the Dolphins, Tua, was 4 for – and you watched the game against the Patriots. He was, I think, 3 for 14 on balls that were more than 10 yards down the field. I think the Dolphins will have a decent day offensively, but I just cannot pick a team with a quarterback that can't push the ball down the field to beat Josh Allen. I just can't see Tua and the Dolphins being 2-0 and Josh Allen and the Bills being 0-2. That's why I'm taking the Bills 27-20 on Sunday. But, Justin, can the Dolphins defense contain Josh Allen, and can Tua make enough plays for them to take control of the AFC East?
As you mentioned, that Buffalo really did not run the football at all. The Dolphins are going to blitz Josh Allen. I thought, Pittsburgh, that has some great pass rushers, did a great job getting to Josh Allen last week. The Dolphins are going to try to do some of the same stuff. I think they'll get to him, but I think Josh Allen's going to make some more plays into it. Yeah, I think Tua as well last week. Under duress last week, he was like 0 for 4 as well with an interception. So he struggled against the blitz last week. And as you mentioned, too, just guy that's not going to make the big play. And it's tough to beat the Buffalo Bills when you don't really have the big play ability. Miami's great, again, at getting takeaways when they need it. I could kind of see them keeping it close, getting a takeaway or two, but I think Buffalo can, possess the, time of possession here, run the football, especially in the heat down in Miami. Something they're not used to up in Buffalo. Like I could see Tua kind of in this Miami team. If they keep Josh Allen off the field in this Buffalo defense out there that's not used to this heat and humidity, I could see Miami sneaking this one out. But I think Buffalo makes enough plays. I think they're just too good of a team to start 0-2, and I have Buffalo 24-20 on the road.
We got an AFC matchup in Pittsburgh as the Las Vegas Raiders, coming off their Monday night win, will go to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. And in this game, I just feel like the Steelers I think the Raiders will have a little bit more success running the ball with with Josh Jacobs in this game. But I think the problem is going to be for the Raiders is I think they're going to have a really you saw in the beginning of that Monday night game against the Ravens, they're going to have a really hard time protecting Derek Carr. I think the Raiders definitely have the better quarterback in this game, but I think the Steelers definitely have the better roster and the better defense. I think they force a turnover or two from Derek Carr. I think that on offense, they run the ball with Najee Harris. I think he has a big day on the ground. I do think that Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue, put pressure on Big Ben. But at the end of the day, being at home, I got the Steelers going to 2-0 and beating the Raiders 27-17. But Justin, can Derek Carr continue to stay hot and help the Raiders get off to a 2-0 start?
I think they'll keep it close, but I had Pittsburgh win this game 27-20. As we saw last week, I think Baltimore, again, with all the injuries, you kind of look, it could be a long year for the Ravens. They really struggled to get the ball going with Josh Jacobs, running the ball. I think they will have some more success doing that, but yeah, as you mentioned, the way Pittsburgh got after Josh Allen and the Bills last week, I think Derek Carr's gonna have a really long day, as you mentioned. Monday night, especially in that first half, Derek Carr really he's just running for his life. I could see something like that again where Pittsburgh has like 14 points off turnovers. I think it's going to be a tough one, especially too because Gruden loves to, he loves those speed wide receivers and he likes to run a lot of deep routes. But, if Carr doesn't have a lot of time, it's kind of tough for your wide receivers to get down the field in, 2 seconds. So I think, the Raiders will move the ball. They will score some points, but I just think I think Pittsburgh defense is going to be a little bit too much for the Raiders, and Pittsburgh finds a way to get the win.
The 49ers head east again this week to face the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think in this game, the Niners, even though they lost Raheem Mostert, I think they still, with Kyle Shanahan, I still think they run the ball really well against this Eagles defense. The Eagles really had trouble stopping the run last week in the first half against the Falcons. Even though the Falcons only scored 6 points, they still had trouble stopping the run in the first half. So I think the 49ers move the ball. Jimmy Garoppolo has a good game. George Kittle has a good game. Deebo Samuel has a good game. So I think they move the ball. And I feel like Jalen Hurts will play well, but I think the Niners will force a turnover there. I do think Devontae Smith will have a good game because the Niners secondary is banged up, as we saw. The Niners almost gave up a 41-17 lead to the Lions. So I think that the Eagles definitely can stay in this game, especially with Jalen Hurts in the passing game and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. I think the Eagles can stay in this game. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the team with a better roster. And I got the 49ers beating the Eagles 30-23. But Justin, can Jalen Hurts and the D-line lead the Eagles to an upset win in their home opener?
It'd be tough, but I have the Niners though winning this one 23-21. I may be taking a little bit too much of what I saw from the Eagles last week of keeping this thing close, but I thought Hurts played well. I know it's a very weak Falcons defense. I understand that, but Hurts isn't the most talented guy out there, but I think he's always going to give you a chance. He's a leader. He's been through a lot, so I think Hurts is going to keep him in this game. I liked how Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor played. If they can get him the ball, I think they'd be able to score some points in this game. The Eagles' defensive line, I think, can get some pressure on the Niners. If they could do that, we've seen Jimmy G kind of struggle against pressure. He's prone to have a turnover too. I think that could happen in this game. But yeah, I just if the Eagles front seven could kind of stop the run early on and make the Niners one-dimensional, I think the Eagles have a very good chance of winning this game. I don't think that's going to be able to happen. I think the Niners are able to do enough, their second week here out in the East Coast. But I think the Niners hold off the Eagles 23-21.
We have the Rams heading to Indianapolis this week to face the Colts. And in this game, we don't know if Eric Fisher is going to play. Julian Davenport was a total disaster at left tackle in that Seattle game. He was terrible at left tackle in the Seattle game. And I feel like the Rams with Leonard Floyd and Aaron Donald, I know the Colts offensive line is good. And I think they'll obviously play better this week, but I still think the Rams defensive line will be a factor. And I feel like Matthew Stafford is going to have a good game against this Colts defense. With the zone coverage they play, he'll get the ball to Cooper Kupp, get the ball to Robert Woods. And for the Colts and Carson Wentz, I feel like, Wentz will play okay, but I think the Rams will force a turnover. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's going to be enough for the Rams to win. And that's why I got the Rams going to 2-0. I got the Rams beating the Colts 26-17 Sunday afternoon in Indianapolis. But Justin, can Wentz, the Colts offensive line, and their defense bounce back to pull off the upset win?
I don't think they will be able to. I get the Rams 27-20. The Colts usually defenses to kind of stop the big plays, but Seattle was very successful in that last week. And I thought watching Matthew Stafford last weekend, he looks like a totally different quarterback. And I think that's what happens when you actually finally have some good coaching around you. And I think the Rams are going to have some big plays out there with Cooper Kupp, Woods. And I think the Colts, I think Wentz is able to move the ball because the Bears had some success moving the ball last week. But I think it's, when they get to the red zone, when they get close, I think the Rams force a turnover too. As you mentioned, Eric Fisher may not play. So, yeah, I think the Rams defense is going to get some pressure on Carson Wentz and, force a turnover too. And I think the Rams will do enough in this game. And they win this one 27-20.
We got an AFC matchup in Cleveland, and you wouldn't think these records are real, but it's the 1-0 Texans versus the 0-1 Browns. But you got a matchup with one of the worst rosters in the league in the Houston Texans against one of the best rosters in the league in the Cleveland Browns, and that's what's going to show up on Sunday. I feel like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt run all over this Texans defense. I know the Texans won last week, but they played a team that might be the worst in football. That's a total disaster, and we'll get to them. That's a complete disaster right now. But yeah, I think that Baker Mayfield has a good game. I think Jarvis Landry has a good game. It doesn't matter if Odell Beckham plays or not. And I feel like in this game, Tyrod Taylor can't manage this game. I feel like he probably won't make any mistakes, but it's just very, very hard to play from behind with Tyrod Taylor. That's why I got the Browns winning their first game, beating the Texans 31-13. But Justin, can the Texans forced a couple turnovers like they did from Trevor Lawrence last week and pull off a major upset in Cleveland?
It's always possible with Baker Mayfield, but I don't see it. I think this is 2017. I think Texans scored a late one to make it somewhat, respectable. But yeah, much different opponent this week for the Texans. We saw that final throw on the final drive last week. Baker, that interception, just a terrible throw. That was picked off. Again, Baker's always prone to those. He was better last year. But I think it's one of the games where Baker only has to throw the ball like 13, 14 times.
Yeah, he won't be able to throw it much in this game now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think they have the ball for about 35, 40 minutes. They're just able to kind of just do whatever they want against this Houston defense. Houston get a couple turnovers, you're in much better position when you're positive in the turnover margin. I don't really see that, the Texans. I just don't see many opportunities where Baker Mayfield's going to have to throw the ball in this game. So I got Cleveland kind of just. I think Chubb Hunt is just going to run all over the Houston defense.
We got an NFC South matchup in Carolina as the 1-0 Saints face the 1-0 Panthers. And as we know, the Saints have been dealing with COVID issues this week as 5 coaches on their staff have tested positive for COVID. But I do think that despite that, I feel like the Saints, they played really well against the Packers this week. And I feel like, their offense will still do a pretty good job against the Panthers. I think Winston will play well. I think Kamara will play well. I do think the Saints defense will force a turnover from Sam Darnold because I know that the Panthers won last week, but they only scored 19 points. Their offense was not great in the second half. I do think the Saints have a really good run defense that will contain McCaffrey. I think this game comes down to the end. I think both defense force a turnover, but I do think the Saints come out of this game with a win, and that's why I got the Saints going to 2-0, beating the Panthers 27-23. But Justin, can Sam Darnold keep the momentum going for the Panthers and get them a win in the division?
It's going to be hard. The Saints look great. I had the Saints getting on the road winning this game 24-17. Sam played pretty well, I thought, last week. Threw a shot up to Robbie Anderson for a touchdown. They dumped it off a lot to McCaffrey. I believe he had 8 or 9 catches. And I think if they do that this week, I think the Saints are going to be able to slow that down. I thought, against the Jet defense, it still is a work in progress. I thought they probably should have put more points up on the board. It was enough to win. I was very, we saw what the same defense did to the Packers last week. I think it's going to be a long day for Sam Darnold. I'm with you. I think Sam probably makes a mistake or two. As long as Jameis can, stay away from, 2-3 interceptions, I think the Saints should be fine in this game. It's going to be tough for Sam in this offense to really to knock off the Saints in this one.
We got Andy Dalton facing his former team in Chicago. He shouldn't be. He should be on the bench, but he's facing his former team in Chicago this Sunday as the Bears host the Bengals. And I think this is a really close competitive game. I feel like Joe Burrow will have a good day in the passing game. I feel like Joe Mixon will have a pretty good day in the run game too. I think Jamar Chase will have a good game as well. And I do think the Bears, I think David Montgomery is a big game for them. But obviously the difference is going to be, I feel like that Joe Burrow, the guy the Bengals drafted number 1 overall, beats the former Bengals quarterback, Andy Dalton. I think Dalton has a turn. I think the Bengals defense forces a turnover from Andy Dalton. And I think this will be the game where, everyone in Chicago is going to want Andy Dalton bench and Justin Fields to be the starter. As I got the Bengals, it's crazy to say this, I got the Bengals going to 2-0, beating the Bears 23-20. But Justin, can Andy Dalton beat his former team for the second year in a row and get the Bears their first win?
It's possible. I thought the Bears moved the ball. As I mentioned, we were talking about the Rams. I thought the Bears moved the ball pretty well last week. I had the Bengals winning 21-20. I think Dalton makes a mistake in the red zone or two like last week. It's probably time to put Joseph Fields out there. If Fields has the 9-yard completion to get him in the red zone or get him like first and goal, and then next play Andy Dalton throws a turnover or throws an interception. But I think the Bears probably kick too many, kick a field goal or two when they're close to red zone. And I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense score touchdowns in this game. So I think Dalton moves the ball. I think Montgomery does have a big day on the ground. I think Mooney and Allen Robinson make some big plays in the passing game. But I think Cincinnati's offense a bit better, and I have Cincinnati going 2-0 this week.
We got an AFC matchup down in Jacksonville, and we got the Broncos heading down there to face the Jaguars. And the Jaguars were, bar none, the worst team in week 1. You can't debate anyone else was worse. I mean, that 37-21 score wasn't even indicative of the game. They were down 37-14, and then Trevor Lawrence threw a touchdown in garbage time. Trevor Lawrence struggled through 3 interceptions. The defense was absolutely terrible. They allowed 2 of these crazy plays to Brandon Cooks, which he made 2 great catches on. The defense was absolutely terrible, giving them 37 points to the Houston Texans. I know it's a division game, but still, you give 37 points to the Houston Texans. Your defense is absolutely terrible. And I think it's going to be more of the same this week. I feel like the Denver's going to run the football with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. I feel like Teddy Bridgewater will not turn the ball over against this defense. That's almost a lock that Bridgewater won't turn the ball over against this defense. And I feel like this Broncos defense will get pressure on Trevor Lawrence and force a couple other mistakes from Trevor Lawrence. That's why I got the Broncos going to 2-0 and winning 26-10 against the Jaguars. But Justin, can Trevor Lawrence bounce back and help the Jags pull the upset?
I don't see that. I don't think that's coming. I got Denver 27-17. Trevor Lawrence coming in, high school and college is 86-4 career, only 4 losses in his career. He's going to get used to a lot of losing this year. The Jaguars just so unprepared last week. It's going to be a long year for Urban Meyer in that team. Lawrence I didn't think Lawrence looked great. Again, he doesn't have a ton of talent around him. I know that line's still a big work in progress, but this Denver team is a lot better than the Denver defense. Is a lot better than the Texans defense he's going to have to face this week. I think it's going to be a long year for him. I think he makes a couple of plays. I think one probably in garbage time once again. Makes the score a little bit respectable. But I think this line struggles. I think James Robinson could, get something going in the ground game, but not much. I have Denver win this game 27-17.
And the big story is about this game is, has Urban Meyer lost his team already? I mean, it just seemed like it on Sunday. It seemed like, or it just doesn't seem like, he's really in control of the NFL game. It just seems like, his team just went out there and was absolutely terrible. And I think it starts with the head coach. And I thought Urban Meyer could be pretty good because, he knows a lot of the college players and stuff. But I think he's having a really, really hard time adjusting to the NFL game.
I think so too. Again, I think it's the same thing when you talk college basketball and then kind of NBA. It's kind of that thing where, Urban's a guy that's going to get into you. And in college, you can do that because, guys want to get to that next level. They want to push that next level. At this level, it's like, I'm making so much more money than you. Why am I, I'm not going to deal with it. So I think he has. I think I've heard he's lost the coaching staff because he's trying to do what college is and trying to control everything
and that's even worse. If you lose the coaching staff, you're not on the same page with the coaching staff. Yeah. With the roster they have, that this season could be a disaster. I'm telling you, if it's a 2-15, he could be out of here after 1 year.
Yeah, no, I could see it because it sounds because college is so you can kind of control your staff, but at the NFL level, you gotta let your coaches kind of do what you kind of brought them in to do. You can't control every aspect of it as an NFL coach. It's not like college, so yeah, I could see it being very, very possible. I know, that USC job's open now, so maybe
we'll get to that. I wouldn't be surprised if he took that job. They go 1-16, 2-15. I would not be surprised if Urban Meyer took that job. But we got to get to the 4 o'clock games, and the biggest game of the 4 o'clock slate is the Cowboys heading to LA to face the Chargers. And I think this is going to be a fun, high-scoring game. I know Lyle Collins is out for the Cowboys, but I think this is going to be a really, really interesting game between these two teams. I feel like the difference, though, between the Cowboys last week and this week is Ezekiel Elliott will have a better game on the ground. I feel like he's going to definitely have a much better game on the ground. And I don't think he's a great running back anymore, but I still think he's a good running back. I think he'll have a good game on the ground against the Chargers. It'll help keep that Cowboys defense off the field. I think this game goes back and forth. I think Dak has another big game. I think Justin Herbert has another big game. I think they both throw at least a couple of touchdown passes. I think they both throw at least a couple touchdown passes in this game. But I hate to say this, I got the Cowboys. I can't see Dak starting 0-2. I got the Cowboys going 1-1, beating the Chargers on Sunday, 31-27. But Justin, can Justin Herbert continue his red hot play and help the Chargers get to 2-0?
I believe they will. I got the Chargers to win this one, 28-23. The Dallas defense looked a little bit improved. Again, it wasn't great, but I thought there is some improvement. I like the way Micah Parsons played last week. I think he'll get even better. I think the defense will get better for Dallas as the year goes on. But I thought the Chargers played pretty well against a very good Washington defense. I think they should torch this secondary, this weak secondary, just like Tampa Bay did. Keenan Allen, big day. Their other wide receivers. I think they're going to have some huge games. They're a huge game this week. And I thought that Chargers offensive line played really, really well. For the new pieces, I thought they played well against one of the best pass rushes in the league in Washington. I don't see Dallas getting any pressure whatsoever, and I think Herbert's going to be able to stand back there and just pick apart Dallas which way. And I see the Chargers going to win at home 28-23.
Yeah, this is definitely a game the Cowboys got to win because everybody said, I know you're picking the Chargers, but I feel like it's a game the Cowboys got to win because everybody's saying, they're kind of, Cowboy fans are thinking it's a moral victory, almost beating the Buccaneers. And I got to give Dak credit. He played a great game. But if they lose this one, they're 0-2. That Tampa Bay game doesn't count as a win. It counts as a loss. Even though you were close, it counts as a loss. So the Cowboys definitely have to win this game. I feel like I feel like Zach Martin being back is definitely going to obviously help them. But Lyle Collins is going to hurt them in pass protection. But I feel like Tyron Smith had a great game against the Bucs. I think he'll have a great game again against the Chargers. And I do think Dak's going to have a really good game. That's why I hate to say it. I do have the Cowboys winning it.
Yeah, I could see it. Dak played well. That Tampa Bay secondary is the weakest part of that team. And, they picked them apart. And I thought, too, Tampa just kept handing Dallas opportunities. Dallas was close. Dallas played well, but it was Tampa Bay just kind of just shot themselves in the foot multiple times. Because Godwin scores, right at the end before he fumbles, 4 minutes left. That's a 2-score game. Dallas wouldn't be coming back from that. So I thought, Dallas played well. Dak played well. He looked good. But, I thought some of it, too, was Tampa Bay kind of just gave Dallas opportunity to stay close in that game as well.
Yeah, they turned the ball over 3 times. I'll give that. I won't really count that turnover before the half. They turned the ball over 3 times, so the Cowboys were +2 so they won the turnover battle. They were +2 in turnover margin. So yeah, the Cowboys, the Tampa Bay definitely. The Godwin fumble, the fumble by I think it was the fumble by Fournette. The two fumbles they had. Yes, they gave Dallas every opportunity to win that game. But still, Dak played a great game, and the Cowboys are definitely a team that could very easily could be a playoff team this year. They proved that. They proved that they probably should be the favorite in the NFC East, even though they lost the game to the Bucs. But still, yes, Tampa Bay did give them opportunities in that game. You're right about that.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. Dak played really, really well. Coming off that gruesome leg injury, you don't know what he was going to look like. Yeah, he played really well. He kind of tore Tampa Bay apart. Yeah, he kept them in that game. So far Dallas looks like they could be a playoff team. I think that defense is going to prove, and that offense is going to put up points against pretty much any defense in the league. So yeah, I think Dallas right now has looked like the best NFC East team so far. They look like they could very well be a playoff team, but yeah, this week it's a huge week. I know even in the NFC East, you really can't start 0-2. You're putting yourself in a hole. I know it's been two. Chargers could be fighting. Kind of in the end there for a wild card, and obviously Tampa Bay is a Super Bowl contender, one of the favorites. So yeah, you still can't start 0-2, but I thought Dallas still played a good game on the road.
Absolutely. We got the Titans traveling out to Seattle on Sunday, and this should be a fun, exciting game. I think the Titans will definitely play better this week than they did last week. I feel like Derrick Henry will obviously have a better game on the ground. I think Ryan Tannehill has a bounce-back week, gets the ball to Julio Jones, and he gets the ball to A.J. Brown. But the problem is I think the Seahawks offense completely, controls this game with Chris Carson. I think Russell Wilson throws for another 4 touchdown passes. I feel like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf have a couple touchdowns in this game too. I think this is a close, competitive, high-scoring game, but I got the Seahawks going to 2-0, beating the Titans 34-27. But, Justin, can Henry and Tannehill bounce back and pull off an upset in Seattle?
They have all the weapons in the world to kind of stay with Seattle and pull off the upset here, but I have Seattle at home winning this game 31-23. Their offense has to be a lot better. Their offensive line got absolutely exposed. Chandler Jones was just absolutely took Taylor Lewan to school. And I know it was Taylor Lewan's first game back. He missed all of last year. So I know who played better this week, but Tennessee was very concerned. I know it's only week 1, so I can't put a ton of stock into it so really early in the year. But it's a very good Seattle team. This offense, I think, is going to be able to do what they want. I think Tennessee's going to keep pace for a while with Henry, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. They're going to be able to put points, but on the road, I just don't see Ryan Tannehill having the ability to outscore Russell Wilson in Seattle. It's not happening. So I have Seattle 31-23.
NFC South matchup in Tampa as the Falcons travel down to Tampa to face the Bucs, and this should be an easy win for the Buccaneers. Tom Brady should have a huge day. The defense for the Bucs should shut down Atlanta's running game. Matt Ryan might throw a pick or two. You got the best team in the NFL against a team that has no direction, and that's why I got the Bucs winning 34-17. This is the one game that was even worth the question because I know you got the Bucs too.
Yeah, I got the Bucs 34-20. Tampa Bay should absolutely, Tom Brady should have another huge day in the air. They should be able to do whatever they want against this defense. Atlanta will put up some points against the secondary. Can Arthur Smith this week actually try to put a game plan around for Kyle Pitts because
I don't know what happened last week. I don't know why Kyle Pitts didn't get the ball that much.
No, I don't either, especially against the Eagles linebacker core. That's not great. So, this week maybe kind of hard with Tampa Bay's linebacking core, but still you have a absolute beast in Kyle Pitts out there. But not a good start to Atlanta, 34-20. Buccaneers get the win.
Got an NFC matchup out in Arizona as the Vikings head out to Arizona. And I don't think this game's going to be – I think this game, I have it 34-20, but I don't think this game's going to be that close because I feel like Chandler Jones is going to continue to be a beast. He's going to continue to put a ton of pressure on Kirk Cousins as the Vikings offensive line was a disaster last week against the Bengals. And they were able to score 24 points, but the Cardinals' defense is definitely better than the Bengals. I feel like Kyler Murray's going to do whatever he wants with the ball. I feel like he's going to be able to get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore. They're going to be able to run it with James Conner and Chase Edmonds. I feel like the Cardinals offense is putting up over 30 points. And for the Vikings, I feel like they might score a little bit, maybe late in the game, maybe in garbage time. Cousins will hit, Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen. But I feel like the Cardinals are definitely the better team. and I got them going to 2-0, winning 34-20 over the Vikings. But Justin, can the Vikings offense keep up with the Cardinals in the desert to give them their first win?
It's going to be tough. I have Arizona win this game 31-24. I think they keep it close. I think Dalvin Cook, it's going to be tough to get something going, but if they can, and try to keep Kyle Murray off the field, I think it's going to help tremendously. But as you mentioned, I don't see Minnesota being able to stop Chandler Jones because, again, then you open up things for J.J. Watt on the other side. So I see Arizona getting a lot of pass rush. I could see them rushing. Kirk Cousins. He makes some mistakes in this game that puts Minnesota in a tough spot. I think Minnesota has the offense to keep up with them, but I just think Arizona has a little bit too much. I just don't think Minnesota is going to do a very good job of protecting Kirk Cousins. So I got the Cardinals moving to 2-0, and I may be wrong. I'm very worried. I have them going 8-9. I'm very worried about that. They look good.
Yeah, I don't think that prediction's holding up. That prediction is not holding up. I mean, I know Cliff Kingsbury has not proven to be a good NFL head coach, but that roster with you add J.J. Watt. I mean, I know J.J. Watt's not as good as he used to be. But you have J.J. Watt now. You add Chandler Jones, who people forget he got hurt in the beginning of he missed most of last season due to injury. Obviously, you have Isaiah Simmons now at linebacker in year 2, Budda Baker in the middle, and that offense. I mean, Kyler Murray, who is a top 10 quarterback. You add Rodney Hudson at center. You obviously got the best receiver in the league in DeAndre Hopkins. That roster, I know their division's tough, but that roster is winning more than half their games. That's definitely happening, seeing what they did on Sunday. So, there's no way that team's going 8-9. But we got to move to the Sunday night game. We got the Chiefs heading to Baltimore to face the Ravens. And I think early in this game, the Ravens might stay in it because they'll be able to run the football. I think they'll be able to run the ball. I know they have a bunch of injuries at running back, but they weren't able to. They had some sort of a running game against the Chiefs, so I think they'll be able to run the ball a little bit. But the problem in this game is the Baltimore, especially their corners without Marcus Peters, they got no answer for Kansas City in the passing game. I feel like Mahomes is going to throw 3 or 4 touchdowns in this game. He's going to get the ball to Kelsey, he's going to get the ball to Tyreek Hill. It'd be interesting to see what Baltimore does if they play a little bit more zone coverage, but I don't think it's going to matter. I got the Chiefs winning this game, and I got the Chiefs winning it 31-20 over the Ravens. But Justin, can the Ravens run game keep Mahomes off the field long enough for them to finally beat the Chiefs?
It's possible, but I don't see it happening. I'm pretty close to the same score as you. I have Chiefs 31-21. Their running game, again, it's so banged up right now. It's tough to rely on Lamar Jackson to really make some big plays through the air. The Raiders kind of just sat back and cover 3 and just, and Lamar tried to take some shots, and he really take what the defense gave him. And as we know, the NFL is a big copycat league, so I could see the Chiefs kind of coming out with that strategy. Again, if the Ravens can control the ball and keep Mahomes off the field, that's the formula to beat the Chiefs. But I just don't see it happening right now. They just, again, with all the injuries, Tyson Williams, I thought, played well. But, again, with their defense, obviously with the injuries to Marcus Peters and I just don't see them making enough stops to kind of keep Lamar Jackson in this game long enough where they have the ability to run the football, and they're going to have to come back to, Lamar's going to have to make some throws with his arm. And I just don't see that happening. And I have the Chiefs win this one 31-21.
And the thing is the problem with the Ravens is they just really can't rush forward. They really can't generate that pass rush without blitzing. And that forces those corners to play man coverage. You saw at the end of the game on Monday night, they ran that zero blitz. I mean, Shea Jones ran right past one of the best corners in the league in Merlin Humphrey. So I just don't – I know, they may be able to keep the Chiefs off the field running the ball, but they just don't match up well with them on offense at all.
No, absolutely not. They don't. They don't. The injuries have really hurt the team. I think.
Not defense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peters injury has destroyed him.
It's huge. Yeah. No, absolutely it has. It has. He's one of the best corners of the game. And yeah, you saw it. They played a ton of man coverage. They don't. They just had no answer. Carter threw for over 400 yards. And, Derek Carr's a good quarterback, and the Raiders have some good weapons, but nothing like they're going to see this week. Like, Travis Kelce they couldn't guard Darren Waller. Kelsey could have 15 catches.
And then you got to worry about Tyreek Hill on top of that. And then the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a long day for the Ravens defense. I could see them giving up 35. I could see giving up more. I think Ravens, stay on the field long enough to, kind of keep it under control for a bit. But, yeah, I just don't see the Ravens defense having any answer for Kansas City's offense.
Not at all. So we'll wrap up talking about the Monday night game, and we got the Lions heading to Green Bay to face the Packers in an NFC North matchup. And I think this is closer. This is a closer game than people think. I do feel like the Packers will get that running game going with Aaron Jones this week. That was a big problem last week. They couldn't get the running game going, and then Rodgers had no time to throw the ball at all. And the Saints, defense, Cameron Jordan, Marcus Davenport were able to pin their ears back and get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I feel like in this game they will be able to get more of a running game, so I do think Green Bay is going to move the football. But I also do think Jared Goff's going to compete. The one thing with the Lions is they don't have a good roster, but they do have competent quarterback play. So that's why I think they won't win a lot of games, but they're going to be competitive. They're going to be competitive. They're going to be in a lot of one-score games, and I feel like that's going to be the case. This week I feel like Jared Goff's going to compete in this game, get the ball to T.J. Hawkinson. I think Goff will have a pretty good game, but I feel like it won't be enough because the Packers are the better team and got the better roster. And that's why I got the Packers winning 31-24 over the Lions. But, Justin, can Jared Goff keep up with Aaron Rodgers for the Lions to pull the upset Monday night?
I don't see it happening. I have Green Bay winning this one 30-17. I do agree. I think Detroit, is going to stay in a lot of games. I think Dan Campbell, too, with his mentality, I think, they're not going to quit, and I think they're going to – you saw it last week. They're not going to lie down very easily. They're going to fight back. When the score was 38-10, the Lions only had 141 yards of offense. After that, where they kind of went on that run there, they had 289 yards after that. So, you kind of they struggled, when the Niners, for most of that game. So the Niners let up a little bit. But, the Packers, again, last week, I'm trying not to overreact to week one, but again, you lost by 35. It is something to take notice of. And I think, Green Bay maybe off the slow start. Detroit usually plays Green Bay pretty well. I know they don't usually win a lot, but they usually keep this thing tight. I could see this happening for a while. I just think Rodgers, they bounce back. I think part of it was too, Rodgers, Green Bay didn't play a ton of, didn't play a ton of preseason. So I think Green Bay will kind of pull away here. But, I think Goff plays well, kind of plays well enough, but just can't outduel Aaron Rodgers in this game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But last week you got me. You went 9-7. I went 7-9. So I got to pick it up with these picks. I was not good week one. You were better than me in week one. So we'll see how week two ends up going. But we got a huge pennant race in the American League with the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees. But before we talk about that, we got an ad from Clovercrest Media.
If you own a business, you know how difficult it can be to get new clients. But what if you had your own sales team? B&I Somerset invites you to join us on Thursday, September 23rd to learn about how B&I Somerset provides a positive, supportive, and structured environment for the development and exchange of quality business referrals. Struggling to find more paying clients or want to take your business to the next level? Our group of business owners have passed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to one another. Want to know how we did it? On Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m., we're hosting an event on Zoom where we show you exactly how B&I Somerset generated client after client for one another and how you could begin to apply the same simple steps to your business too. The reality is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. B&I Somerset is incredible for building your personal brand and ensuring you are known. Join Somerset B&I's Visitor Day on Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. For more info, visit bniwne.com/CT-Northern-Somerset-BNI. Businesses thrive by changing when the world changes, and the world is changing. B&I Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind.
Looking for a casual baseball podcast to listen to? Well, Baseball with the Bard, presented by Clovercrest Media, has just what you're looking for. Tyler Bard and Noah Cross cover a wide range of happenings in the MLB and then dive into a deep focus on the Red Sox and Yankees. Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for your weekly dose of Baseball with the Bard.
Pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home serviced for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside flooding those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program, because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for this season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
That is Mosquito Shield. Make sure you go to MosquitoShieldCT.com and sign up, and make sure you tell them the boys at John about the G-Men sent you. But now, we normally would go into picks, but I figured, hey, we got the best bets, and that's kind of like picks. So let's talk about news around the league and stuff going on. Starting off, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They looked really, really bad week one. Aaron Rodgers threw for two picks in a 3-38 loss to the Saints. So can Aaron Rodgers take this Monday night and make it as a get-right game for him, or is he just done with the franchise, over it? He just wants out, Joe. What do you think?
Well, earlier today on Keys to the City, we were talking about who had the biggest issues. And to me, it was the Packers by a mile. Aaron Rodgers looked like he'd rather be hosting Jeopardy. That team looked all out of whack. It was an embarrassing loss. They looked lifeless. They certainly don't look like a contender. I really think they got to. I mean, it was a complete failure. I mean, as bad as Aaron Rodgers was, the defense was a disaster. Just a terrible day in Green Bay. Got to take a real look in the mirror there. I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned about this game coming up against the Lions, who showed a tremendous amount of heart battling back against the San Francisco 49ers. That team had every reason to lay down and just continue getting beat down. And they really, came right down to the wire, 41-33. So, boy, couldn't the Lions use a big win over Green Bay early? Got them a little bit vulnerable right now. I think most people are like, Aaron Rodgers will be fine. You don't think that what happened Sunday was a problem? I mean, they look like they did not want to be there, him especially. Bad.
Did you guys, any of you guys hear the interview with Aaron Andrews? Take a listen, take a watch, because he's candid about the whole situation. He said himself, hey, you drafted this guy to replace me. Why not just put him in and let me go? That's an actual quote from the interview. So, I mean, I think it's pretty evident he's done. And a little bit off topic here. Jameis Winston, 5 TDs. I told you he'd be an MVP candidate. A lot of people slacking him for the less than 200 yards, but that's because of the Packers offense. They were getting good field position. So I think Aaron Rodgers is done, and you spent a first-round pick on Jordan Love. You just got to hand him over it, because this whole thing with Aaron Rodgers, it ain't going anywhere. Sean, do you agree? Should they give Jordan Love the reins?
If this continues, them getting beat 38-3 every week, I think it should. But I think it might be. I think by the end of the season, midway through the season, we're going to look at this as an overreaction. I think the Packers will be fine. I think they'll be in playoff contention, but it definitely wasn't a great start. But I think it is a get-right game this weekend. I think that the Lions did show good heart and fight against the Niners, but I think the Packers are going to go in Monday night And I think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, because obviously the Packers have some situations that they have to deal with. But I think the Packers will go in and get the job done. Jeff Okudah just got lost for the season for the Lions, so that's another top cornerback for the Lions that will be out. More passing opportunities for the Packers. And like I said, I mean, if it continues, if they have a rough season, maybe then you put Jordan Love in, maybe at the halfway point of the season, maybe look for some trade bait if you can get Aaron Rodgers off the team, because it's the last year of his contract. If you can get a huge haul for him just for a half a season of Aaron Rodgers, then I would definitely look into that. But for right now, I think you got to stick with Aaron Rodgers and see where it takes you, because obviously he's still one of the best QBs in the league, and the Packers are a talented team. So just got to see if they turn it around, and I think it starts this Monday against the Lions.
Zay, we do posting up together, right? You, me, and Sean. Is Aaron Rodgers pulling a James Harden here?
No, I don't think he's pulling a James Harden here. And I think in the situation where James Harden wanted out, I don't think necessarily Aaron Rodgers wants out. I think we've known Aaron Rodgers to be one of those guys we can't read. Because a couple of months ago, he's talking about trade me, and then he's like, all right, I'll play. So he's one of these guys who I'm just not going to buy into how he feels at the moment. I have him bouncing back. I see them bouncing back, and I see them, like Sean said, we're looking back on this as an overreaction, because Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys who's not going to go out like that. He's going to make sure that when he leaves, he makes sure you know what you lost when he leaves. He's going to be one of those guys. He's not going to be one of those guys where you're like, well, we're glad we got rid of him while he was crap. No. He's not going to do that, and he's not going to make a fool of himself to get out. I think Aaron Rodgers will bounce back. I think it was a bad week, but I think it was more of Jameis Winston being a better quarterback than Joe gives him credit for. I think I said before, they went the Taysom Hill way. That would have been ugly. I think Jameis proved us all wrong. You know, he is a 30-for-30 guy. We'll be lucky if Daniel Jones throws 30 ever in a year. He's thrown 30 his whole career, so don't knock Jameis. I think Jameis is still one of the good guys, and I think that's why that game ended the way it will. But I do see Aaron Rodgers bouncing back. He's not going out like that. Not at all.
I actually want to know. You guys, I'm going to give you guys homework if you're up to it. Watch the Aaron Andrews video, and then let me know if anything changes with that. Because, I mean, I just don't see how, if you have this many issues with the franchise, you can get it done. Unless, I mean, the only person who was able to do that was Michael Jordan. And sorry, Aaron Rodgers, you're not Michael Jordan. But now let's talk about another topic, the Titans' big three. Both Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones only combined for 136 yards. Should the Tennessee Titans fans be worried, Joe?
No, not yet. Arizona was insane. Chandler Jones, 5 sacks, 6 pressures, 2 forced fumbles. I mean, he was as disruptive a force as you could possibly be. And, you know, once it kind of got rolling, it got out of hand. Murray and Hopkins and company really just lit it up over there Sunday. I think Tennessee's going to be fine. This wasn't the start they were looking for, but they got punched in the face. I don't think they knew what they were getting into. They got to figure out a way to get A.J. Brown and Julio Jones the ball. The blocking up front wasn't great. Derrick Henry ran nowhere to go. And, again, every time Tannehill dropped back, it was if it wasn't Chandler Jones, it was somebody up in his face. So they got to get better. I'm not worried about Tennessee at this point. There's a lot of teams I think that should be a lot more concerned. I will say this. Arizona should feel really great about themselves because, my goodness, they looked fantastic on both sides of the ball.
Hey, look what happens when you play your high draft pick. He barely got on the field last year, and he's leading the team in tackles in Isaiah Simmons. He was a beast, and he got a pick as well. But I'd say, I'm concerned a little bit about the running game. Because Derrick Henry, only 11 carries, I don't think that's enough. I understand they're getting at you, but Derrick Henry is a truck. He is a train. You got to keep going, and eventually they will break. So that's my big concern, and then that defense was problematic. But, Sean, what did you think of this?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Titans. My best bet was over under 52 points. The Cardinals got their job done with the 38. I mean, but
it was a combined 51. You were 1 point off.
Yeah, Titans just give me another field goal and I hit it. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's I think it is concerning. I think that I agree with Joe. I think they'll be fine eventually, once they get this offense rolling into the season. But and Derrick Henry only getting 11 carries. Obviously, that has to do with the situation in the game. You're down, 20 plus points for most of the game, so you're obviously going to be passing the ball most of the time. But I think the Titans offense will figure out. Taylor Lewan needs to figure it out. Obviously, just having a terrible day against Chandler Jones, and usually, he's regarded as one of the better tackles in the league, so he's got to step it up. But I think they'll be fine. I think that they'll start to run their own offense where Derrick Henry, like you said, is wearing down the defense, the opposing defense, and that they'll start to figure it out. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are probably the best receiver combo in the league, if not definitely right up there. So I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll be fine, but this definitely was concerning. But I think it's more of an indication that the Cardinals are for real this year, and the NFC West is loaded, and that they actually have a pretty good defense, and Kyler Murray is definitely right up there in MVP conversations. I know it's week 1, but if you were to take a poll after week 1, I think he'd be right there. So I think Titans will be fine, but definitely not what you wanted to see in week 1 from this big trio in Tennessee.
Okay, what you got?
I kind of agree with Sean, kind of don't agree. I just think it's more of a situation of, like I said, this whole preseason thing and the 13 days between the last preseason game and the start of the season. There's been a lot going on. I think teams are just off to a weird start. I don't believe that the Cardinals are some good team that's just coming to fruition. I think, again, they just got the better of a team who got off to a rough start who will figure it out later on. I think the Cardinals, again, as we go on, we'll see they're just a middle-of-the-pack team, just like they had shown last year. And I think Tennessee will get back in their ways. But I guess it's too much to make an overreaction right now for anything because of how the way the season began. There's the odd things going on. Teams are still trying to figure things out, put things together. Julio Jones is a new piece to that team that wasn't there before, who they're adding on. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I'm not going to make much of it. It's just, like you said, it's a lackluster performance. It won't happen again. It's just early.
Yeah. All this stuff boils down to, it is early. It is only week 1. I mean, you can't – a lot of people are reaching and drawing weird conclusions, but it's week 1. You can't make those yet. But now let's move on to our picks, best bets. And Zay was the only one who won last week.
All right.
Zay taking the Steelers. I lost with you're right, Joe. The Falcons O-line is atrocious, and
it's awful.
I did not expect the Eagles to be able to do what they did. And then Joe, you had Tampa, right? Plus 8, -8. That kept it close. And Sean, we already talked about it. 2 points off for
just one more point, and it's a push. I mean, come on, show some pride, Titan.
All right, another team that's overachieving early, the Eagles.
Yeah,
it
is early.
The Falcons might be the worst team in the NFL. Yes, I feel pretty comfortable saying that.
All right, but now let's talk about this week. Zay and Sean going with the G-men to get it done. I love it. I mean,
it's a hope and a prayer.
I agree with that.
If you can't beat Washington by 3, we got a lot of work to do.
I think the Giants are going to win outright, and even if they don't, NFC East games, especially Giants-Washington, they're always close. I mean, neither of these teams are going to be putting a whole bunch of points on the board, so most likely it's going to be close. So even if they end up losing, I think that they'll lose by less than 3 or 3 points. So I feel pretty good about this one.
See, this is another, I'm pissed off that the Giants are underdogs here. Because
how could you? Did you win Sunday?
No, I understand.
They'd be underdog to a college team right now.
Listen, I understand. But still, 5 in a row. You obviously have this team's number. I don't see why you're not favored against them.
Because hold on, not for nothing. It's funny because I literally and Zay completely disagreed with me. Nobody pointed this out. This idea that Green Bay's going to be fine. Who are we just talking about? Tennessee is going to be, you know what I mean? You're right. Like, we depend and rely so much on what happened last season that we just assume everything's going to work out. And, in 2019, everybody was like, yeah, the Falcons are going to be fine. And they haven't been fine since. So it's easy to just assume these teams are going to bounce back. I think if you're Green Bay, there's a real issue there. It's got nothing to do with football skill and talent, but I think that's a team that's got some inner turmoil, and I think that's going to really start being problematic. As far as Tennessee goes, it's easy to assume. I mean, I had a guy like Julio Jones, that offense should be better, but now you have to find a way to make two wide receivers happy. You were struggling enough to get the ball to A.J. Brown. So, I don't know. We'll see if they can figure that out. I mean, it's going to be a process, and that line's definitely going to have to do a lot better than they did this week.
Yes, sir. But, Joe, let's get to your pick. Big number. You got the Browns getting it done by, I'm assuming, more than 2 touchdowns against the Texans.
Yeah, listen, I know everybody thinks Tyrod Taylor's awesome, and I applaud that effort. Jacksonville sucks, and Urban Meyer is not going to last the season in Jacksonville. It's already blowing up over there. So my thought is the Texans are as bad as we think they are. The Browns, took it to Kansas City for 3 quarters, and then they did what Cleveland does, but I think coming back against a team like the Texans, I think the Browns are going to put it together. They're going to turn things around because that's a really good football team.
Yeah, I like this pick. I mean, everyone is going to be, with such a big number, I'm sure a lot of people are, the square pick is to take the Texans, but because how well they looked. But yeah, the Browns just are on
Fool's gold.
Yes,
Fool's gold. Don't buy that Texans nonsense. Dude, Trevor Lawrence had 3 interceptions. They fumbled. They were awful. And let's be honest, and I know everybody wants to get all excited about Jameis Winston, MVP candidate. Don't fool yourself. If you think that guy can make that last for 17 weeks, you've got another thing coming. Listen, nice arm, stretches the field, but he has a tendency to put the football in the wrong team's hands. He does it a lot, and don't think the fact that they're throwing the football down the field a little bit more that he's not going to get exposed. We have these conversations all the time. He's not good when he throws the football down the field. He's a little erratic, and that's going to show up in New Orleans like it showed up before.
It's not because he got LASIK, but not only that, he had a season learning from one of the greatest quarterbacks ever in Drew Brees and one of the greatest coaches ever in Sean Payton. So that's why
he still doesn't have his top 2 receivers either, Michael Thomas and Traquan Smith.
I'd take him over Daniel Jones right now. He can at least hold on to the ball.
Yeah, okay. Well, my pick.
Hey, looks. Hey, what you want? He does.
No, you know what? Listen, you guys keep talking about Jameis Winston as an MVP pick, so that in week 7 I can laugh in your faces.
The fact that you just jinxed the whole Cleveland franchise should make you
warm. Zay, I'll give you Teddy Bridgewater, but you're not getting Jameis Winston.
No, you're not giving Zay Jameis Winston. You're giving me.
Me too. I said Jameis.
No one's getting Jameis Winston. You're not getting him yet.
He's winning MVP.
Jameis Winston's got to do this for about 10 games before I'm buying.
If you can get Mike Glennon, then me and Jace get Jameis Winston.
All right. My best bet, the Bears versus the Bengals. The Bengals had a great game against the Vikings. The Bears, it was rough against the Rams. But the Bengals, 5 sacks. Khalil Mack was a non-factor against the Rams. Rams have a good O-line. I think Khalil Mack eats. He has a Chandler Jones-esque, not that type of level, but similar. I think he eats. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a lot of different Bears in his face, and I think the Bears get it done. And I think Andy Dalton just does enough. I think the defense is going to win them this game, and they're going to get it done by a touchdown. I'll give them a touchdown. All right.
I'm surprised the Bears are favored.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Khalil Mack saving his energy until Justin Fields is quarterback. Once he's quarterback, he's going ready to turn up. He ain't doing that right now. Andy Dalton.
Oh.
He's not wasting his energy. So Andy Dalton could lose him some games. He's not wasting his energy.
He's going to eat. I mean, 5 sacks again. The Vikings got 5 sacks on him. I mean, it's going to be a rough time in Cincy. And that week 1 was, I think, a little bit of a fool's gold, like Joe said. They were able to get it done, but that O-line is going to be a problem. But now, let's close it out. Fantasy locks. Zay and Joe, you guys took it with Tom Brady, the SpongeBob Square pick, but you can't pick Tom Brady for the rest of the year. I came in 3rd with Tyrod Taylor. Sean, I believe your laptop died, and you saw this, and you commented, Tyrod Taylor, what the hell, Jace?
Yep.
But he did better.
I'll take it. I mean, he's not going to do that again.
Wait, how is Trevor's pick of Lamar Jackson not a SpongeBob SquarePants pick that blew up in his face because Lamar only scored 15 pathetic points? By
Trevor's
the way,
not here. We can't.
By the way, may I share that I'm in like 10 fantasy leagues, so I'll spare you the details. But Monday night, Jared Jones and I were duking it out. He had Lamar Jackson on his team and Waller, the tight end for the Raiders. And I had the kicker, Carlson.
Oh,
and we were locked at about 171 to 170. And Waller's lighting it up and Lamar's screwing it up left, right, and sideways. And we were tied. It was 170 to 170. He had a .30. I had a .26. And that was after Lamar fumbled. So now we're within 0-4. They bring Carlson into the game. 43-yarder for the win. And that idiot, John Gruden's an idiot. Took too long to decide. Delay a game penalty. It's a 48-yarder. Carlson had just hit from 51. But he just done it. He decides not to kick the field goal. And I lose by .04.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a wild finish to that game.
Look, you got way more losses on your way. You got way worse losses on the way.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that was a Monday night game. But Joe,
real quick. I'm sorry. Quick side note. In our fantasy baseball league, we should mention this because everybody here is involved in that. Sean, really great job. Sean, you're in the playoffs. Did you just get bumped?
Nope, I'm in the semis.
You're in the semis, and Zay. It's Zay and me.
Oh,
and I'm off to a good start, Zay. I just want to put that out there.
Got that 06 Giants feeling. I'm one of the last 10 of 11. I knocked off the Giant last week.
Sean, what is it?
Live score update. I'm up 30 points on the low ballers, and Joe is currently up 68 to 62.
Well, I haven't had nobody play yet. Nobody's playing yet, so it's coming.
Well, you don't want to see my team, so don't even worry about it. All right?
All right. I'm not a baseball guy, so let's get off baseball. Let's get back to the football.
Yeah, we can tell from your terrible fantasy team.
Yeah. Joe, are you going to go Carlson as your fantasy lock this week then?
Pretty funny. No, I am not, although he's a hell of a kicker. I am going to go with,
look at that.
And this is, I'll tell you what, Justin Herbert's coming off a pretty pedestrian week. Did not play great. I don't want to say I have a formula, but I think that I'm going to pretty much be taking the quarterback that plays the Cowboys every week. That seems like that could be a safe play here. So I got Justin Herbert in a bounce back week, throwing for 420 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That was going through my head, but that's too much of a SpongeBob Square pick for me. But Sean, you got a pick from that same game Boom.
Yeah, I went similar strategy here, Joe. I just went with the receiver that's going to be catching the balls from Justin Herbert. So Keenan Allen.
I'm going to send 13 your way for about 224 and 3 scores.
Perfect. That's all I need. He had 9 catches for 100 last week, and now he goes against a bad Cowboys secondary who got absolutely torched by the Bucs last week. And Keenan Allen, number 1 receiver for Justin Herbert, I think he's going to have a monster day. So hopefully this one doesn't blow up in my face like Stephon Diggs did in the Bills offense in week 1. So I hope that it goes well, and I think it will. I'm going with my guy Keenan Allen, and I'm sticking with Joe's strategy. I think going against the Cowboys is usually a pretty good bet. So I like it.
Damn, I just realized, I'll talk about it later. But Zay, we talked about him earlier. You're going, boom, Aaron Rodgers to bounce back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, and he will not go out like a punk. And everybody's probably going to bench him this week on their fantasy team and put their backup quarterback in, thinking Aaron Rodgers doesn't give a dang. So guess when he goes off for 40 points. So just give me my second win already. It's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is going to go off for 40 points against the Lions. He's going to make them look like they didn't exist. None of this beef existed, and we're going to move on with life and never talk about Jeopardy again. Well, and Aaron Rodgers in Jeopardy in the same sentence. Joe, I heard Joe earlier talking about Jeopardy. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I don't know. There are definitely problems outside of. I don't know. I just don't know if Aaron Rodgers can bounce back. Like, there's way more than just on the field stuff.
Well, it's about the drama. It's about the drama.
Yeah. But I got that same game, that same team. But the Packers are going to win when they give the ball to Aaron Jones. Am I crazy? Did they not just pay this man a bunch of money? Am I wild? They did this and gave him only 5 carries?
It means nothing to a Giants fan. We paid Galladay and threw him the ball twice.
Okay.
2 minutes to go.
With 2 minutes left in the game.
No, they're going to win this game by running the football and giving Aaron Jones the football because Aaron Rodgers does not want to be there. I mean, when he threw the 2 picks, that's when you got to realize, hey, run the football. And I don't know. I like A.J. Dillon and Kylan Hill, but they're young. Aaron Jones has to take control of this team if this team wants to succeed. And the Lions, they are the Lions. They should win this game. I don't see the Packers winning this game. Matt LaFleur needs to make the game plan, run the football, because if Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the football to the other team, Aaron Jones is going to be able to get it done. So that's it. All right. We got the 2 Chargers against the Cowboys, and Zay and I are going 2 Packers against the Lions. So a little bit, not just the show, but which one of the teammates can do better. We'll see.
Find out next week on John About the G-Men.
Yes, sir. But that is going to do it for John About the G-Men this week. Let's hope that next week is not as, depressing with the Giants.
Dreadful, painful, depressing.
My youth embarrassing for BYU, and then this the day after. It was a tough weekend for me.
At least you're not an Ohio State fan.
Hey. But I picked Oregon. I was the only one on all 4 downs to pick Oregon. Just saying. But that's going to do it for John About the G-Men. Thanks again for Mosquito Shield for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you go to mosquitoshieldct.com. When you sign up, tell them John About the G-Men sent you. For myself, Big Jace, for Joe Guire, for Sean Scanlon, and King Zay. That's going to do it. We'll see you next week for more John About the G-Men. Take care and enjoy the football games. The Giants are running New York like the times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Burn, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement? If you own a business, you know how difficult it can be to get new clients. But what if you had your own sales team? B&I Somerset invites you to join us on Thursday, September 23rd to learn about how B&I Somerset provides a positive, supportive, and structured environment for the development and exchange of quality business referrals. Struggling to find more paying clients or want to take your business to the next level? Our group of business owners have passed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to one another. Want to know how we did it? On Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m., we're hosting an event on Zoom where we show you exactly how B&I Somerset generated client after client for one another and how you could begin to apply the same simple steps to your business too. The reality is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. B&I Somerset is incredible for building your personal brand and ensuring you are known. Join Somerset B&I's Visitor Day on Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. For more info, visit bni.ct-northern-somerset-bni.
The NFL
Businesses thrive by changing when the world changes, and the world is changing. B&I Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind.
The college football season is coming back, and we got you covered on every game. We're breaking it down on each snap all season long. Catch us every week starting on August 4th. Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, Jace Garcia, and yours truly, Obi Muniz, giving you the highlights, predictions, and current rankings. Visit our website at hhwshow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's All Four Downs, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network. And welcome to All Four Downs, the NFL picks of Week 2. I'm with Hector V, and yeah, I just had to, I had almost choked myself saying
I know it
because that's how I felt for Week 1, finishing with 7 wins and 9 losses. It was actually pathetic. Not as pathetic as watching the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium choke on Week 1. And I don't even know what's going on in football anymore. I mean, with this new rules and new concept of spring training or preseason, and then leading on to the start of Week 1, which is this year, first time in history that they go to 17 games. Hector, man, well, what happened?
You know what? Week 1 made us question everything that we thought we knew about football. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like they say, any given Sunday, well, last week proved that to be correct. You know, how we always take for granted these teams that are quote unquote garbage. Well, last week that proved us all wrong. And no matter what you thought you knew, last week just proved that you don't know everything. You're not perfect. And boy, we felt like Mike Tyson getting knocked out by Buster Douglas in 1990. This was just a 10th round knockout. I just felt like, when was the bleeding going to stop? You know, it's like game after game after game. I'm like, I can't take this anymore.
I mean, I was like that too. I couldn't take it anymore, surrounded by Denver Bronco fans. Listen, if follow me on Facebook, you will see that I had recorded actually I didn't record it. I broadcasted the pregame show, which was very, very beautiful when they're honoring the 9/11. Of course, you know, it was 20 years ago, well, September 11th, when you know, we got attacked, right? America got attacked and everything, and they had all the soldiers, pretty much all the armed forces there. And to see them honoring the American flag, honoring the victims, the survivors, and the family members that were there, you know, that was very a special moment. And the whole crowd, no matter who you were rooting for, you know, they were there, you know, in all support and all. And it was very beautiful. The singing of the national anthem was beautiful. And then the game started, right? They rocked the bell. It was football time. And I was left wondering, what in the world am I seeing on the New York Giants? I was like, are you crazy? Like, is this a repeat of last year, the way they started? I'm like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? And, you know, it is what it is. It's week one. And as soon as they fell, I was like, yo, let me look at my game. And you know what? At one moment, I was winning on all my games. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
I was winning all my games. And then the second half of some of those games, I got crushed. Like, my feelings, like my chest was getting tight.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
You just wish at that point it was just the first half football and that was it, right? And I just call it quits for the day. Yeah.
Look, I called the Philadelphia game. You didn't believe me.
Yep.
Right. I did go for Buffalo. I thought that everything was going well for Buffalo, and I was wrong, but it was still a good game.
It was a very good game.
Minnesota losing to Cincinnati, I didn't see it. But my brother called me saying he had a gut feeling the Bengals are going to win. Okay. Detroit Lions winning. No, I missed that one.
Yeah, I mean they made a gallant effort to come back.
Yeah, and then the Titans. I mean, look at the Titans. I mean, these guys were supposed to be the best running team, and I thought that defense was up to par. That didn't happen.
No, now they're called the Tennessee Teenies. They're not Titans anymore.
I mean, I think the worst two teams of football played each other in week one, and that was the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans. I don't care what they say about who's the quarterback for Houston Texans. The organization needs some serious help, and I don't expect the Houston Texans to do anything, to be honest with you.
That was the dumpster bowl. You didn't get it? You didn't get the memo?
Yeah, no, I did
it. Dumpster bowl, yeah.
But my boy Mac Jones from New England, he showed some productivity, even though they came up 1 point short. But big ups to Miami. But I still see New England Patriots making a run to the playoffs. And then Justin Fields, you know, they did play him, but will he be the starting quarterback here on out with the Chicago Bears? It's not. We don't know that yet. You know, and that what makes our picks a little hard. Yeah. Because what happens if on that day, like I said, we're making our official picks now.
Yeah.
But moving on Sunday, will he start? And that will probably be a difference maker in our picks coming this week.
Yeah, definitely. You're absolutely right. You know, because you saw Chicago playing that game, you know, with Dalton and Fields just back and forth here. I felt like I was watching a college football game, you know, and I get it. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you got to see what you got, you know, you got a product, you want to put it on the field and see what you got going on here, you know, and they didn't fool the Rams, but
no. But I tell you what, man, I think the two teams that I'm going to keep a close eye on is the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. I think they both show something promising. They got something to build on. And I'm just surprised the way Cleveland's playing, right? They're doing it without Odell Beckham.
Right.
I think they could do – a lot of people think once he's there that it's going to be a difference maker to elevate. I don't see them elevating. I see a little decline because it seems like when Odell is not playing, the team operates a lot better.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like there's not a virus in the area. And I'm not saying, be like, oh, you're a hater. I'm not hating on the guy. I just feel that that's it. And a lot of people don't want to say it. The media don't want to say it. They think that Odell Beckham, he has something to prove. Man, he had all that ample time to prove what he was capable of. You know what I mean? And we all know from his time with the New York Giants that things wasn't great. But speaking about the New York Giants, we got our week 1 picks coming up, and here we are. The New York Giants at Washington, which is a Thursday night game. And again, I'm not pleased with the New York Giants. It's the same old, same old. They all fell flat. Danny Dimes kept turning the ball over. And what do you expect, man? What can you do, right? Between the time that you finished your game to getting ready for Thursday, what changes can you do?
I don't think either team can make any big adjustments and changes between Sunday and tomorrow, honestly. I'm looking at, what have you done for me lately? And the Giants, we all know, have won the last 5 meetings against the Washington football team. Okay. And so I'm riding a little high on that right there. Okay. Because the last 5 games that the Giants have won consecutively against the Washington football team, they've averaged a total of 386 yards a game. Okay. And 179 of those were rushing. So the Giants have been successful rushing the ball against Washington. And I am leaning towards the Giants in a very close game to take this one and sending the football team to an 0-2 start.
I wish I could agree with you, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Well, you're talking about quarterback Heineke, who's going to start Thursday.
Right.
Fitzgerald is out, okay? And we don't even know if Saquon Barkley is going to be playing. He's listed as questionable.
Right.
But I don't care if he was 100%. He is not a factor in the Giants' offense. Everyone always want to be on that bandwagon. Listen, he didn't run well against the Denver Broncos. Now, don't get me wrong. The Broncos have one of the best defense in NFL right now, right? But the offensive line cannot create holes for him to run, and he could dance all he want, but he's going to be jiggling all the way to the sideline, getting a tackles for losses. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. And I'm going to tell you, what's working for the Giants that they didn't use is that passing game. Receivers were open.
Right.
Receivers were getting open and did not get the ball. Sterling Shepard is not everything for the New York Giants, by the way.
Yeah,
there are other wide receivers that did not get the ball that should have gotten the ball.
But he did have a good game, though. We got to give him that. He had an outstanding game.
I give him props, and he was responsible for giving us a few first downs.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, why would you keep running the ball? Why, if it's not working, throw the ball. And I don't feel like those decisions are I don't think the Giants are ready, man. I really don't. And that's why I say the Washington football team is going to etch it out. And the Giants are in trouble to start 0-2 this season.
I can't be mad at you about that. I mean, we've seen it's just a continuation of last year. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, even though the Eagles won last week, but still the whole NFC East as a whole has a whole bunch of holes everywhere, that each 4 of the teams got to fill themselves up. We're just in a fortunate situation that one of these 2 teams, hopefully I'm right, got to win this game. Because my luck, there'll be a tie, right?
No, I'm not, and I'm not accepting no tie on this one.
But yeah. But I'm sticking with my Giants one more week here, you know what I'm saying, just to make an improvement on a short notice here. And so we'll see what happens here. I know they'll
be on the road. Let's see if they're really a road team. But we got New Orleans at Carolina. Winston is doing a good job. I heard he was doing a wonderful thing. He threw 5 touchdown passes. But Carolina has McCaffrey. McCaffrey leads in rushing and receiving. So I don't even know if that's good. And counting that, are the Saints good by beating the Packers that they should be favored automatically? Or was it the Packers not prepared? You know what I mean? And then they had to move to the state of Florida, but that still benefited New Orleans. Then you got Carolina, Look, they beat the Jets. So who's favor who?
I think that.
Go ahead.
No, go. Who you got on this one?
I'm sticking with the Saints on this one. I'm trying to stay safe. I'm going to say the Saints.
I got you. I'm going for New Orleans here. You know what I'm saying? I think the Saints just did a great job in attacking the Packers on both sides of the ball. Okay, I mean, to shut down someone as like Aaron Rodgers and only holding that team 3 points, you got to give them credit where credit is due. So what it was in Florida. Jamie in the crowd was going for Jameis Winston because he's FSU. They did what they had to do, and now they're going up against Sam Darnold. I think that defense can maybe force a few turnovers, against him. You know what I'm saying? If they could be successful against a person like Aaron Rodgers, I think they wouldn't have as much of the problems with Sam Darnold here. So I got the Saints in this one.
Well, a lot of wagers are going for Carolina in this game, which is very surprising. But I'm still sticking with my pick. I still feel like New Orleans is the team. Houston at Cleveland. I'm going to skip right to it. I think Mayfield. I think these guys have something to prove, man. I think they want to get back on it. They want to be on top of Pittsburgh. So I'm picking Cleveland to win.
Look, Cleveland punched Kansas City in the mouth. Okay, they punched them in the mouth. And whether it was fourth quarter turnovers by Baker Mayfield or whatever the case may be, they are a legit contender here. Okay, and Houston is just, to me, a legit pretender. Okay, Cleveland is going to bounce back at home in this one. I mean, it seemed like they had a pretty good crowd in Kansas City. I've heard a lot of people cheering for the Browns there. This team is for real all of a sudden, and we cannot take them lightly. Houston, we have a problem here. Okay, and it's known as Baker Mayfield. And Cleveland, it probably will cover the spread on this one because I know it's pretty big. Cleveland's going to get the job done handily against the Houston Texans.
All right, I like it, man. I like it. We have Cincinnati at Chicago. The Bengals. The Bengals came out victorious, 27-24 at half overtime, over the Vikings. And then you got the Bears, which they're not making a decision who's the starting quarterback. But a lot of people are trying to push it. The fans are trying to push it for Justin Fields to start. This is a tricky one. But I'm going to stick with Cincinnati, man. I'm sticking with Joe Burrow.
I was going back and forth all day while I was at work about this game. And I'm going to tell you, at one point, I was leaning half my day towards Chicago and the other day, half a day towards Cincinnati. And I just kept on going back and forth because you're right. Chicago played 2 quarterbacks last week. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, let's. I know it's the first week. You're trying to feel things out. I get it. But we got to make a choice here. You know what I'm saying? And Jamar Chase, he was pretty darn good last week.
It looked like LSU versus the Vikings, right?
Yeah. But in this one, I got Cincinnati to start off 2-0. And Joe Burrow is doing great things. He's still got a lot of work to do, but he's on the right track here. I mean, you may call it an ugly win against Minnesota, but a win is a win. There's no style points in the NFL. You take the victory, you go home, and you get ready for the Bears. So I got Cincinnati in this one.
Las Vegas at Pittsburgh. The Raiders at Steelers. This is, back in the days, this game would have high stakes on it, right? And but it doesn't have that same feeling as back in the 70s and 80s. But this is a tough one, man, because what kind of team did I see? The type of team that I saw on Monday night compared to this and seeing what Pittsburgh has done, I'm not sold on the Las Vegas Raiders as of yet. But I will pick Pittsburgh at home. I'm picking Pittsburgh at home.
It was just one of those. I'm going to throw it up. If you catch it, we win. You don't, then we just keep on playing type of. But you're right. When we had the Oakland Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s, that was the juggernaut matchups. I'm still kind of getting used to this Las Vegas thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but Pittsburgh, to me, they silenced the critics from last week, going to Buffalo and beating the Bills, who are probably one of the favorites in the AFC. You know what I'm saying? So I like Pittsburgh in this one. I think they're going to continue to ride that momentum from last week. and take on this Raiders team, who to me has still got a lot to figure out. It just got lucky in winning. Okay, but I got the steel curtains on this one. Pittsburgh all the way.
David Carr threw 56 times.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a lot?
That's a lot. I get tired just looking at you throw that many times. I need to take a break from the couch. You throw that ball that many times.
I mean, look, he threw it for 435 yards against the Ravens, but were the Ravens ready though? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to understand the feel of what week one's supposed to be.
Right.
And this is, and again, I mean, whoever got their outstanding record for week one, congratulations, man. But I don't know. I think Raiders are fake. They need to prove to me, man. They need to prove to me more. So, Buffalo at Miami. This is a good AFC East showdown.
Oh my God, I'm loving this game right here, man. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm overlooking Buffalo's loss. I mean, they were not playing a chump-ching team, playing Pittsburgh. So, even though Bills were favored to win, I'm not going to say they were upset. Okay, but I think this is going to put a little more urgency on them to win this game against Miami. Okay, and Josh Allen, he's got a record, I believe, of 5-1 as a starter against Miami. So he's got a lot of success against the Dolphins, the Tunas, okay, of the AFC East here. So I got Buffalo bouncing back and beating the Dolphins and putting them in a can of tuna and sending them off to your local grocery stores.
So you got Buffalo.
I got Buffalo.
Well, my friend, this is one that I'm going to say I'm going to have to disagree, man.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Miami on this one, being that Miami is at home.
Okay.
I mean, look, last week I picked Buffalo because the last 4 seasons they did well on week one, right, on openers, and they kind of own the Steelers. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I got it. Then they didn't show me anything. So I'm like, then there's Miami. I know they play New England. I got it. But maybe week 2 is the actual still week 1. Know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Week 1 was week 0.
In college football, they call it week 0.
Yeah.
So why not in the NFL, right? So I'm taking Miami on this one. I'm taking a gamble. All right. I'm taking a gamble.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, that's what we do.
We're not in Vegas, but we're in Miami. Okay.
I mean, in the state of Connecticut, I still can't sports bet yet. So I'm waiting for that law to pass. But the LA Rams will be at Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. You talk about upsets. You talk about going against the underdog here. I am going to take this football and I'm going to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone here. And I am going for the Indianapolis Colts. But hear me out. Listen, the last 2 years, in the last 2 seasons, the Rams are 3-5 against the AFC. Okay. They're 1-3 on the road against the AFC. Okay. They are not a good road team against an AFC team. I don't care who you got at quarterback for the Rams. They're a great team, but they can't seem to figure things out on the road against the AFC teams. So I got the Colts coming in at home and beating the Rams in this game. That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it.
So even though Wentz really didn't play well, you're still going for the Colts?
I'm still going for the Colts. The Rams have not shown me anything in the last couple of seasons against an AFC team on the road.
But they got Stafford in the team, though.
Like The Rock says, it doesn't matter.
Well, you know what matters is that when you have 5 starters from the Indianapolis Colts and 4 of them are being defense and they're out for, they're listed as questionable. I'm questioning your tactics and actually seeing that if they're going to win. So once again, I'm going against you, man.
I hear you. Go take those Rams. Take those Rams.
I'm going to take those Rams.
Because guess what? You take the Ram with them horns, but my Colt is going to give you a back kick to your horns. That's right. My horse is going to kick your Ram.
I'm going to just go for the goal like the 49ers did last week, okay? as they travel to the Philadelphia Eagles. And before you make your pick, I trust Jalen Hurts to get this done. The Eagles will beat the 49ers.
God, oh my God. As a Giants fan, how are you going for the Eagles 2 weeks in a row? I don't get you. But you know what? You got lucky last week. Okay.
Oh.
But you're not getting lucky this week. Okay.
I got
I'm
lucky.
sorry.
I got lucky.
You got lucky with that one, with those birds. I call the Eagles the new dirty birds of Philadelphia.
Fly dirty, baby. Fly dirty.
That's fine with me. They can fly all they want. But when San Francisco's defense get all over them and clip them wings and keep them grounded,
you must have forgot Hurts been there and done that.
I don't care. Them 49ers are going to go rush up in Philadelphia, find all that Hershey up there, and strike rich. They're going to beat them Eagles, baby.
I mean, if they do, that's more power for the Giants, right?
I get it. The Eagles rushed almost over 170 yards last week, but they're playing the Falcons. Okay? You ain't doing that against the 49er defense. I am so sorry. No, sir.
Not even if the West Coast team going all the way to the East Coast. That won't make no difference.
You got Debo Samuels. You got George
And
Kittle.
it's a 1 o'clock game. It's
That's
not a 4 o'clock game.
That's okay.
The 49ers are going to be too tired to play, man.
But they did what they had to do to beat Detroit. You see what I'm saying? So they stay that way, and they're going to take Philly. They're going to take over that whole side over there.
Okay. Denver at Jacksonville. Denver.
Do we really need to talk about this?
Nope.
Okay. I was going to say, I didn't think we need to talk about this.
But you do got to make your pick, though.
Denver, please. I
Right.
mean, if Teddy Bridgewater cannot do to the Jaguars what he did to the Giants, then we got a problem. There's gonna be a full moon.
There'll be a problem for the Giants and be like, "Yo, they lost to the Jaguars."
Oh yeah, forget about it.
New England at New York Jets.
You know, this is gonna be interesting. I think
this is good. This is a match that should have happened in college football, right? When you had BYU versus Alabama, that could have happened sometime while Jones and what's his name from the Jets should have been starters, right? And look, I'm supporting Mac Jones this season. I really am. I'm a big fan. I think he got cheated on during college. You know, where I think he deserves the Heisman more than what's his name, Devontae Adams, right? But I'm giving this to New England. I think they'll build for what they mistakenly have done last week, and I think they will get the job done. Patriots over the Jets.
Oh yeah, I think Mac Jones did a better job against Miami, okay, than what Zach Wilson did against Carolina, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying, as far as their completion percentage. So I'm gonna give this one to Mac Jones, over Zach Wilson on this one. So I got the Patriots over the Jets, but I think there's gonna be a pretty tight contest between the two. I don't think it's gonna be a big blowout, honestly. But I got the Patriots.
All right, Minnesota at Arizona.
Fly, Cardinal, fly. Fly, Cardinal, fly. After what they did to the Titans last week, I'm like, they left me in awe.
They said, Team Titans, go.
Okay, I'm not going to ask why you watched that, but it's okay.
I still got kids.
Yeah, that's understandable.
All right.
Yeah, they got Kyler. Cardinals got Kyler Murray. Come on now, it's a no-brainer there.
Well, and will this be a no-brainer? The Falcons at Buccaneers.
That's going to be a tight – no, never mind. Anyway, Tampa Bay is going to probably cover twice as what they're going to say they're going to cover.
Well, okay, let's talk about that coverage real quick. You ready? So, as of right now, the start of the wage is negative 12.5 for Tampa Bay. So
it's going to be it'll probably be 14-0 after 4 possessions for
by
Tampa
Sunday.
Bay.
It should increase at least 21.
Jesus. I'm telling you, by the end of the first quarter, we could see a 17-0 game.
Tennessee at Seattle.
This is very intriguing. This is very intriguing. I too, with this one, was going back and forward. I was, because I look at Tennessee and how they faltered last week against Arizona. And now here they are, a second week in a row, playing an AFC West team, but this time on the road instead of at home. You know, you think Tennessee is so tempted. You know, they have I would say they have like a desperation factor here to win this game, but their defense seems so shaky, and I don't see them doing anything against Russell Wilson and that offense to stop them. So I got Seattle at home winning this game in a very tight, contested game, maybe a field goal game, maybe against Tennessee.
I got Seattle. No matter it's by 1 point or 100, I got Seattle. Dallas at LA Chargers.
Wow. Well, I'm going to say something that is going to be very unusual for me to say. How about them?
Hold on. No, we're not going to say that.
I think the Cowboys are going to pull this game out.
I think so too. I was thinking about it very hard. If I was a gambling man, I'll pick Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, because you know the way Dallas has proven themselves, even with last year, they got the high power offense. They just seem to struggle on defense on stopping the opposition.
That's the bad part right now.
I know
the Chargers could throw too.
I know. And Justin Herbert, I won't be surprised if he throws for 300 yards in this game easily with his eyes closed and one hand behind his back because the Cowboys defense is that much garbage. But we got Dak Prescott, and he's got a load of wide receivers, okay? And maybe, you know, that will elevate them to get that victory because they should have beaten Tampa Bay, but that was the kicker's fault. That wasn't Dak's, and that wasn't the offense, okay? Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He scorched the secondary. It is what it is. But I can see this a high-scoring game, high 20s, maybe low 30s for both teams. But I think Dallas will pull out the victory on this one. So I am going for the Cowboys.
Well, I'm going to change my mind.
Oh.
I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I'm going to look outside and see if I have a full moon out there to see.
Look, they just announced today that DeMarcus Lawrence is out this week. And he's going to be out for some time. You got Donovan Wilson, questionable. He's their safety. Collins, Gregory are both out. And then Michael Gallup is the injured reserve. He's on the IR, so he's already out. So who knows? But then you got Allen. Of course, Dallas has Cooper. And then you got Allen with, again, 9 receptions for 100 yards last week. You know, Prescott versus Herbert, this is going to be a great game. It really is.
It is. And and since I'm here in Texas, I got that game automatically. That's
prime time already on CBS. So automatic. It's the Chargers.
I get it. But we're talking about the Cowboys too, man.
I know. I seen how the Cowboys went ahead and played, but I also seen that they didn't have any defense.
If the Cowboys lose this game, they are in deep trouble, no matter how garbage the division is. Falling to 0-2 could mean the season for them. And knowing that either the Giants or the football team is going to be 0-2 also. I mean, their only hope is that I'm right, that the 49ers beat the Eagles and keep everybody in that division running neck and neck like they did last year.
No, we'll see. We'll see. Kansas City at Baltimore. On that last pick, I'm probably gonna just shoot my foot off or something because I changed my mind in live, man. What the hell? But anyways, Chiefs at Ravens.
I got Kansas City. I mean, when you talk about the history between Kansas City and Baltimore, the last 2 times they played Baltimore, they beat them by double digits. Okay, I think Lamar Jackson has not have a win yet against Patrick Mahomes in his career, and so Baltimore may try to keep it close in the first half, but Patrick is Patrick, and he's gonna control this game the way he does. Kansas City wins this game and sends the Raven to 0-2.
I agree with you with Kansas City. And on Monday Night Football, Detroit will visit Green Bay. Look, neither team are impressive. I'm not in a bad wagon with Aaron Rodgers. I don't care about Aaron Rodgers. I think his selfishness is getting in the way. And for all that drama that happened in the offseason, nothing was shown for last week. But being that it's against Detroit Lions, about to fall, I'm going for Green Bay.
Yeah, I got Green Bay. Green Bay, I think they've won the last 4 meetings against Detroit. Okay, and being a Monday night at home, I don't see Aaron Rodgers flopping 2 games in a row like this. If he does, then I think he needs to leave. I think this is a sure sign that it's his time to go.
But they're paying him so much money. Why would you flop?
You know what?
Fulfill your contract.
Yeah, he could. He should. But I got Green Bay. So
I got Green Bay too, and it's saved. And you guys can also see us on Big Skin on ESPN. So it's never too late to join us on all 4 downs.
Which I am up 10 points on you right now.
Are you? I'm not
by
points.
Well, we got the same record, but I got you by points, so I am in first place technically.
Well, technically, you can kiss my, you know what?
Don't be mad. You got your haterade? Canada Dry style. So we kind of recap here. Looks like we got 5 games this week that we disagree on. That's pretty.
That's pretty much average for what we usually do. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, which is good.
And what you're gonna tell me, damn, Obi, once again, you were right. Just like I was right with Philadelphia.
I'm just gonna have to tell you, what will come next week. I'm like, I'm just up on top of you again, just like I am with the big.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Well, tomorrow definitely we'll be talking about college football, which will happen Thursday night. Recapping what happened in week 2 and making our predictions on week 3, and that will be with Jace and our host, Joe Aguirre. A lot of coaching changes happening. The USC head coach got fired after the loss against Stanford. I mean, that's the second coach already in college football that got fired. The first one was from UConn, which they should have fired him. Should have never hired him, put it that way. But it is what it is. But there's a lot of changes going on. And then, of course, there's always those politics. But it doesn't matter, especially in the rankings. We already know, and what really matters is Alabama and Georgia are on top. And, of course, bringing it back, we got the NFL starting tomorrow with the New York Giants visiting the Washington football team. That's going to make it or break it between myself and Hector because he's still going for the Giants. And me being there at MetLife Stadium, I saw what I saw. I'm just not impressed. I mean, if they win 40-0 over the Washington football team, then I'd be like, well, what was this? I'm just going to say it like that. Where was this?
No, and I agree. I mean, because it's like we don't know what we're getting from our team week by week. And that's sad to say. At least if you're up in Kansas City, Missouri, you know what you're getting from your Chiefs. You see what I'm saying? Or if you're in Tampa Bay, Florida, you know what you're getting from your Buccaneers. But us fans, as Giants fans, and we're not alone. And I can honestly say, as a Giants fan, we are not the worst team in the NFL. Okay, we're not.
Wait a minute, who's not the worst team?
The Giants are not the worst team in the NFL.
But
I'm just saying. I think there's other teams out there that got more issues than what we do. Ours is a little more fixable than what other teams got.
Fixable?
A little bit. I didn't say completely. I said a little.
Oh, how about we get ourselves a quarterback for the New York Giants? I'm sorry to say that.
So we got a quarterback, Danny Dimes.
That's not a quarterback.
He's fishing for pennies. He's not making dollars. I see a lot of sense going on here. Or not a lot of sense.
No, not a lot of sense at all.
Let's just change. Oh, we could go with the puns all day. So you're saying we need a change. Gotcha.
Change need to be quick, or else we need a new offensive coordinator, because that's the reason why he couldn't be a head coach, and that's Jason Garrett. But hey, this is all 4 downs NFL picks, not John about the G-Man, which you can catch him every Wednesdays around 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you miss it, you can always go to clovercrestmedia.com. And let me throw that banner up there real quick. Whoa, wrong one. I'm messing up the controls here. Here we go. Look at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That is www.clovercrestmedia.com. Join about the G-Man, know about them. And then you got R&J that covers all kinds of sports. It's definitely covered heavily on the NFL. You want to catch that too. And once again, we're all part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network. So tune in, especially all 4 downs tomorrow with the latest of college football. Thank you, Hector. Thank you myself. Yes. And then come next week, you know who's going to be on top. Really?
I don't want to do a show if we get 5 ties.
If you own a business, you know how difficult it can be to get new clients. But what if you had your own sales team? B&I Somerset invites you to join us on Thursday, September 23rd to learn about how B&I Somerset provides a positive, supportive, and structured environment for the development and exchange of quality business referrals. You know how struggling to find more paying clients or want to take your business to the next level? Our group of business owners have passed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to one another. Want to know how we did it? On Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m., we're hosting an event on Zoom where we show you exactly how B&I Somerset generated client after client for one another and how you can begin to apply the same simple steps to your business too. The reality is, it's not who Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind. B&I Somerset is incredible for building your personal brand and ensuring you are known. Join Somerset B&I's Visitor Day on Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. For more info, visit bniwne.com/CT-Northern-Somerset-BNI. Businesses thrive by changing when the world changes, and the world is changing. B&I Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We're streaming all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So comment, like, subscribe, share, or just let the people know about Keys to the City as well. Or you can check out Clovercrest Media or The Podcaster Joe on Twitter or on Facebook at The Podcaster Joe or Joseph Aguirre on Facebook. Oh boy. Yeah, it's me and Ted wearing the shirt. Joe is wearing the hoodie, surprisingly, right now. It was a rough night for not just Big Blue football, but the New York Yankees. A rough night overall for New York sports fans, and that's how we're going to be discussing. That's what we're going to be talking about all day today is the Thursday night that, well, wish it never happened. But what do we have to say about this game? What can we say? Gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching, heartbreaking. I'm just going to say not surprising. And I laugh because it's not a funny laugh. This is actually not a funny ass
like
laugh.
Smart.
This is a smart ass laugh because that's what it's become. And we'll talk about the New York Yankees in a little while, but we're going to talk about the NFL and the New York Football Giants because, well, by last night's actions, last night's play, it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. I see people saying, look, I hate this team. Look, here's one thing that I'll never say. I do not hate the New York Giants. I am a diehard sports fan. They are my favorite sports team in all of sports. I love a lot of sports teams, but this is my number one team. This is my ride or die team. I'm not going to say I hate them. I'm just going to be disappointed because this was a golden opportunity for the New York Football Giants to showcase their talent, showcase the team that we were hoping to see on the field this coming season with all the new weapons. Well, there were some positives, but there was more negatives. And I see people just saying, oh, here we go again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's become. It's not a shock. It's not a surprising to me. I got some stats for you. So I know how people have been writing the Giants record since 2016, or 2017, 18-48 overall. The worst record in football. That's a 2.273 winning percentage. I'll go even a step further. Since their Super Bowl record, their overall record, or Super Bowl championship, I should say, they're 57-89. So that's not a good, but that just shows where the New York Giants have been. And we got to also take into consideration, guys, that we've seen this before. We've seen this over the past couple of years. We've seen it from our own kicker, who has broken our hearts, in Graham Gano. We've seen this on Thursday night last year against the Philadelphia Eagles, against the Dallas Cowboys. This is just an ongoing situation that has just been occurring for the New York Football Giants. This is what we have become. And I talk to my dad. He always says, Mickey Mantle don't pay your rent. You're right. They don't. These guys don't pay my rent at all. But it's about the satisfaction of seeing the New York Giants win a football game. And to see them literally celebrate and then take it from me or all of us, it literally was on display last night. So, guys, I know that everybody's been mocking us, laughing at us because we have become one of the laughing stocks of the NFL the past 5 years for good reason. But my question is, should we really be surprised of the outcome of last night's game? I'll start with you, Ted.
No. I mean, yes and no. You watch the game and you have hope because there was a lot of positives. I thought for the most part our offensive line through pass protection was fairly good. Considering that this defensive line was supposed to be the steel curtain. I mean, there's supposed to be Mean Joe out there, and for the most part, they did their part through pass protection. Now, I did realize they couldn't run the ball, but like you said, it was just. I think I'm just reading an article while you were kind of BSing, and it was more from Jordan Renan and just said another way for the Giants to have heartbreak and just miss opportunities. And I think that's the biggest thing because. Daniel Jones, for the most part, he didn't play a great game, but he played a really good game. Hold on one second. Of course, a video would be playing of the New York Giants as I'm talking to you, and it's Darius Slayton dropping the ball. Thank you very much. That would happen. I mean, that's the missed opportunities. I just wrote this down last night, and of course, it bothers me. And I know we'll get into it more, dude. Holding on the long run. So let's break that down. Beautiful call. That's what me and Joe and you kind of have talked about for the past 2 years. Daniel Jones has really good athleticism. I mean, he pulled away from people. I don't know if that should have been holding. I thought it was good blocking. I mean, you could go either way. It's one of those judgment calls. But that's minus 4 points right there because we did settle for a field goal. So that's 4 points off the board. Then later in the game, we had 2 back-to-back false starts, which took us out of field goal range, which we end up having a punt. So that's minus 3. And Gano, I mean, he's unbelievable. But Trev, you and me have talked about it before. You got to score touchdowns and not kick field goals. I know Gano was unbelievable. Last night, I mean, you see, he kicks it. He walks off the field like Steph Curry shooting a three. He knows it's good. Then the offsides on the field goal at the end of the game. We know that. That's another 3 points. And then the drop pass for the touchdown on Darius Slayton. That's another 4 points. We lost. In total, we lost 11 points last night. So we should have won by double digits. That's just Giants football. As a Giant fan, when you say hate, are you going to watch the game next week? Yeah, you probably will. So don't say you hate them. Because if you hate them, you never watch the Giants. Burn all your stuff, get rid of your stuff, stop talking. You're upset. Like anything else in life, you get very upset because there's such a passion about this team. And Trev, I agree with you. Somebody asked me that day, what would you, if you had to choose one, what would you rather have, college football or NFL football? And I couldn't answer. But I think if I had to pick a team, and you know me, I'm a huge Florida Gator fan. I'd take the Giants every day because I'm at work last night and I'm baffled. I'm like hitting the desk. I'm like yelling at myself because it's just I'm not surprised. This is what the Giants are. I'm 34 years. Dad's 63 years old. This is who the New York Giants are. They find ways to lose like no other. You can talk about the Jets. They lose. They just get blown out. No one loses like the Giants. From the game in San Francisco in 1998 or whatever it was, 2000, we had a field goal, we botched the snap. We fought Minnesota in 1996 on an onside kick. Deontay. I mean, in the wild card game, we find ways to lose like no other, and it's just very disheartening because you do see progress. Another thing, and I'll end with this so Joe can talk about his thing, is we have an issue with our defense right now. I know it's only 2 weeks, but with Teddy Bridgewater and Taylor Heineke dominating the last 2 weeks, throwing for over 300 yards, that's an issue that we'll have to figure out.
Joe, what's your takeaways from this game? And I mean, honestly, are you surprised by this?
No, it's funny. Last night, I was watching the game, but I was also doing a remote recording with a guy who actually does some odds making. And when the Giants got the ball back and kicked the field goal to go back ahead, leading up to them kicking the field goal, I said to him, "Oh boy, I've seen this a million times. They're going to kick a field goal and they're going to lose this thing in the last second." And he said to me, "I got the Giants and you're good. They're going to win the game." And I was like, "No, I'm telling you, this has been repeated a lot since 2017. This team finds a way to get a lead late in the game or within the last 4 or 5 minutes of a game and then just hands it over. They cannot finish. They don't know how to finish." But I saw a lot of positives from this game. First and foremost, 1 3-and-out the entire evening for the New York Giants offense. That's very exciting. Now, you said they couldn't run the ball. That's true. Overall final numbers, 163 yards on the ground, average 5.8 yards per carry. Again, you look at Saquon's numbers, 13 for 57, 41 came on 1 run, so averaging 4.4. It looks good on paper. At the end of the day, it wasn't. The run game still obviously a real big issue for the Giants. But listen, having a great quarterback like Daniel Jones, and there I said it, this guy's really good. And if he had an offensive line around him, I really think that you'd be seeing some really amazing things. Here's what I'm tired of hearing, though, is Joe Judge's mouth about anything. Because there's zero discipline on this team. Whatever the Joe Judge whatever that even is, it's not working.
I'm glad you brought that up, Joe, because he spoke about we're going to be a disciplined team. We're going to do the right thing. And this team, they make mistakes constantly, stupid mistakes. He talked about discipline. Trevor, we talked about in the preseason. Is he too hard on the players, making them run laps for mistakes? Well, Joe, it ain't working, Joe.
Yeah, it's not. It is not penetrating with these guys. 11 penalties, 81 yards. You already mentioned Dexter Lawrence's bonehead play. 4 for 12 on 3rd down, 1 out of 3 in the red zone. This is not a disciplined team. So they need to run more laps. They also, you know what? They won the time of possession. When was the last time you saw that happen? I mean, look, the Giants did everything they do to win a game, and they had the opponent they usually beat, and then they pulled the Giants like they were playing anybody else, and they found a way to lose.
You're right. They pulled the New York Football Giants. I got some more stats. You talked about Saquon. So 9 of his 13 carries, he was hit within 1 yard or behind the line of scrimmage. So the offensive line, yes, Daniel Jones had 163 or 165 yards of rushing, but a lot of that came from Daniel Jones and the RPO, keeping the ball, zone read type things, and that's what I like to see. Get your quarterback who is athletic in this league, one of the athletic quarterbacks in this league. Get him the ball. Let him use his legs. It's one of his strengths. And then also, so we talk about not surprised. Well, the Giants have started 0-2, 8 of the last 9 seasons.
It feels like it's been 20 years in a row.
No other team has more than 4 0-2 starts.
Wait, 8 of 9 years?
8 of the last 9 seasons, the New York Giants. I wrote this down. I have the stats. This is where the New York Football Giants are. And here's what I'm getting all confused is they praise Daniel Jones. They talk a lot about Daniel Jones, that we love this kid. We're all in on him. Well, when are we going to actually see him do Daniel Jones things? And I'm talking about in the sense of, when are we going to let it loose with him? It's very conservative in these first couple weeks that we've seen. Kenny Golladay, you already saw him starting to show frustration. Kadarius Toney went on social media last night. You traded back when you had the chance to take maybe a soon-to-be maybe all-pro left guard, left tackle in Rashawn Slater, a possible franchise-altering change in decision and drafting a quarterback in Justin Fields. I know it wasn't going to happen. You could even taken a guy like Micah Parsons, who could have been an outstanding defensive linebacker and a big presence in this defense. But no, you traded back, okay, because we listened to the fans. Maybe the Giants should trade back because the fans know all nowadays. And what did they do? They trade back, and they took a guy in a do-it-all type, all-purpose player in Kadarius Toney. Well, Kadarius Toney hasn't been seen in 2 games, and he's already voicing his displeasure. This is just – are we on the verge of seeing this really, really blow up in the New York Giants? Because we're looking at a division that, yes, they're 0-2. It's still a very winnable division, and we've known this for years now. The Dallas Cowboys have their question marks. The Philadelphia Eagles, I know they're 1-0, but still – we have to see them prove it this week in a huge game against the 49ers. And then Washington, they have a lot of question marks. Their defense doesn't look as great as we all thought. And the Giants are just the New York Giants sitting there in a golden opportunity to win a football game in which you were the better team for most of that game. But you made a guy in Taylor Heineke, and this is where I don't care, is that you want to say you're all in on Daniel Jones. Well, Taylor Heineke threw the ball 46 times. He threw the ball 12 more times than Daniel Jones last night. Teddy Bridgewater, they took chances with Teddy Bridgewater. We're still seeing Daniel Jones as this conservative guy right now because the New York Giants say a lot of talking, but the actions don't speak for itself. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I hate the New York Giants. I'm done with this team. I'm just going to sit here and say, I'm not surprised, guys. I'm really not, because this is what the New York Football Giants have been since the Super Bowl, their last Super Bowl appearance and their last Super Bowl win. This is what it's been. A lot of opportunity, a lot of hope, but in the end, it's a lot of heartbreak. And another one just showed last night. Golden opportunity staring them in the face. They had the game in hand, literally. And what do? They pull the New York Giants, and that's why they're 0-2 sitting there. And now we might be talking about, yes, you get to play the Atlanta Falcons, who are not much better than you guys. A very winnable game, but with the way this season's going, this could have been a huge, huge play for the season. A tough season, a tough stretch that's going to be coming. Yeah. And to see this right now, I'm not surprised, guys. It's just, you know what this is?
This is last night proved for the Giants that the season's already over. And you're going to be like, what are you talking about? There's 30 teams out of 372 teams since 1990 have made the playoffs. That's 8% when you start 0-2. Here's the other thing. That's a division game, so that counts as a game and a half. Plus, Washington would have been 0-2 at home the first 2 weeks. That's really putting them in the hole. You know, and here's the thing. You win the game, so now you're 1-1. You get 10 days off before you play the Atlanta Falcons. You win that, now you're 2-1. Now you build momentum. That's what last night's loss, you could see it after the game, after the field goal. It felt more like a playoff game, the atmosphere, and then the celebration when Washington won. And I watched the Giants. The Giants walked up. They looked defeated last night. We gave everything. I know we screwed up. We should have won, and we blew it, and we lost. Joe, my only thing with Daniel Jones is, and I have no problem. I thought Daniel Jones last night was probably the best game I've seen Daniel Jones play in his career.
Well, let's also take into consideration that it is Washington, and he always does.
Yeah, but Washington's defense is supposed to be elite.
Yeah, really, cut this guy some slack, Trev. Jesus Christ, what do you want him to do?
But my thing is this: a lot of
got to do it against the Bucks and the Chiefs. Is that it?
No. Here's my thing. I think it's more based on Jason Garrett. Oh,
big time.
Because I'm watching some of the shows and just trying to get where the guys know, where they're more into the system, where they know more. And they're like, you watch the first 15 plays of the game last night, and you're like, woo, Jason Garrett, we got something cooking here. And then we went back to the old Giants, oh my God, where people are, I get a phone call. It's always when I'm doing a show, where you're dinking and dunking the same passes. They're not stretching the field. Majority of their throws last night were under 15 yards. Even Troy Aikman spoke about it last night. But this is my thing, and I said it before the show. If you have full trust in your quarterback, right? After that pick, when you get the ball to 25, Joe, you said it too. Chad Henne, when it was 4th and 1 with the backup quarterback. You throw a first down, 5-yard slant, 5-yard out route, set the tone, right? So now it's 2nd and 5. Keep the clock running so they still have to use a timeout. You haven't run the ball all night. And if you are going to run the ball, let's run a read option where we did the best last night, and then that's where we got majority of the yards. It wasn't hand the ball to Saquon. Saquon's not 100%. You could see it last night. He's not 100%. He's closer to 85% than he is 100%. You could see it in his cuts, his ability just to make moves. I know there's not many holes. I still think he dances too much. But first down, throw a slant, throw an out route. Let's get a 5 yards. Let's set up 2nd and 5. Then let's run the ball. Maybe pick up 2 or 3 yards. And then 3rd down, set up 3rd and short where it's manageable, where you're like, all right, even if you're full short, 4th and inches, and maybe you may think Joe Judge maybe goes for a quarterback sneak to end the game and then kick the field goal. That's my thing. I still think when the Giants have an opportunity, I look at the teams around the league and I'm like, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert. I'm like, you see these teams, they have confidence in their quarterback, even when that he's going to complete the pass. And my thing about Daniel Jones is I still think he misses some throws. Last night, the 3rd down throw, what I was talking about when we're going in, he throws it behind Shepard. Shepard can't catch the ball. He completes it, even though we're short for 4th down. Washington has to use the timeout, which means they would have had no timeouts on that last drive, which I think the Giants would have been able to hold them enough where they would not have been able to kick the field goal in that situation. He's got to make the throws when they count. Joe, you always said it. It's not about the regular throws. It's the ones in the 4th quarter or down in 2 minutes when they mean the most. And I think he misses too many passes. I know you could say, hey, listen, we dropped the pass. We had an offsides. Don't blame it on Daniel. I'm not blaming Daniel Jones. I'm just talking. There's miscues and there's missed opportunities. And then when you add in the discipline errors that the Giants have, that's why you lose games like this. Good teams don't lose games like this. Bad teams find ways to lose. And that's the difference right now with the New York Giants and everyone else that we play. Because I don't care about anyone else, about the Bengals, the Packers, the Falcons. I care about the New York Giants and how they perform. I will say this, and I'll end it on this. I thought the Giants at least looked much more competitive and looked better from week 1 when they got slapped around against the Denver Broncos.
Eli Manning had 27 comeback victories in the 4th quarter in his career. And that's why people who watched all of Eli Manning's games know exactly what you're talking about, Ted, that it's not just hitting passes, it's hitting the ones that matter in the big moments, and that's why the guys got 2 Super Bowls, and it's got nothing to do with the defense. It really doesn't. Here's another thing. You get the ball back with 2 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock, right? You've got a quarterback who's more Lamar Jackson than he is Tom Brady. You've got a running game that's been going nowhere. You run 4 plays, kick a field goal, go up 2, give Washington the ball back with 2 minutes. Now, that is to suggest, Ted, that Joe Judge has more faith in a defense, which at that point had allowed 400 yards of offense to a backup quarterback.
Back-to-back weeks.
And 27 points. So Jason Garrett and Joe Judge decided to put the hands in the game in the hands of a defense that had clearly not been up to task all night. You have a quarterback who can do special things.
And he played
if
really
Chad
well.
Henne can do special things for the Chiefs, I think that you got to start using this kid. You got to start winning games. Not for nothing. I'm telling you, the second they kicked that field goal, I knew it. I knew it was over.
There was way too much time.
When the first kick went up, I was looking for the flag. I didn't even react. I was like, oh, there it is. Got it. Perfect. Here we go. Finish my drink so they can bang it home. And this was, literally like I was like having deja vu as I pictured exactly how it was going to happen momentarily. And it all lived up to the misery that we're used to at this point. This is now, and here's something you guys maybe don't know. Teddy, you might be more aware of this. I'm sure your dad is. Back in the old days, the Giants sucked for a long time.
Oh, awful.
Like after the 50s, the Giants were like such an embarrassment for about 25 years.
Yeah, they were
literally until LT showed up.
Listen,
this
they were flying
franchise was an
airplanes over the
embarrassment.
stadium to fire the ownership and the coaches. That's how bad the Giants were. Even the 3 years when they played at Yale Bowl during the mid-'70s. Oh no, Joe, I know. Listen, this is the Giants story. For a Giant fan, you shouldn't be surprised, but you should be upset because we have high expectation.
I mean, obviously, I'm upset with the performance because of the way they lost. I mean, I'd rather almost see them lose like the way they did to Denver.
This hurts more than last week. Yes, Trev, I agree. This hurts more.
I'd rather see them lose to Denver than a game like this, a division game as well, and to play 60 minutes like the way they did, literally lose on the minute between Wyatt Tittle out there. The Giants were awful. But here's the thing.
Well, hopefully DJ kind of helps us break it up. Maybe you just need guys with initials.
Here's the problem. This, as good as Daniel Jones plays, it's not going to matter if this team continues to lose. Because, Joe, you talked about this with Herbert as a rookie, when I was really high on him. You got to win games, and you got to find a way to win games, and you got to make those throws. Like, if you watch Herbert last week in the fourth quarter, I know his line was stifling the Washington defense, but he made all the big-time throws. And Daniel Jones got to make those throws. I told the Trev, even on Darius Slayton's play, right? And everyone will say, hey, listen, Darius Slayton should have caught the ball. Even he said that he should have caught it. He said he should have dove. But my dad used to say this. Don't always try to make the perfect pass. Just throw it to him. Even if he falls down, he catches the ball at the 3. Do you know he had the second most separation since 2017 on a drop pass? It was like 17.8 yards. That was the difference.
Just roll into the end zone.
It was a great throw, and he should have caught it. You're an NFL player. You're supposed to make those plays, but just throw him the ball. Like, literally, if he falls down at the 3, he can roll sideways into the end zone. I'd rather have him just catch the ball and then walk in. That's just the thing. It's miscues. It's missed opportunities. Daniel Jones is good, but if they don't start winning, listen, guys, it doesn't matter what Daniel Jones' numbers. He played really good last night. Maybe not great enough, and maybe he's got to play better because he's got to overcome some of the miscues on this team and how bad they are. That's what great players do. We're going to be looking at a clean slate next year. It's going to be Word document, blank document, start from scratch, from top to bottom. GM, and here's the thing. You hire a new GM. Is he going to want Joe Judge as your coach? Because you know how that goes. GM wants his own coach, wants his own personnel in there. So Joe Judge will be on a short leash then again. And then the domino effect, Trev. You know, Joe, what I'm talking about. And we're going to have to figure out what Barkley is, guys. We can't always blame the offensive line. Eventually, it's going to fall on Barkley. What is going to happen with him? And the miscues, Trev, we've talked about it over and over with draft picks. You got Kadarius Toney. He has 2 catches for -2 yards in 2 NFL games. You drafted a wide receiver in the first round, use him. But I didn't understand why we took him anyways when you had Shepard, Slayton, and Galladay. Not a bad 3 with Rudolph and Ingram. And Ingram is like a wide receiver anyways. So there you go. I'm done.
It's just the same old Giants. And I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan because we've seen it over the years that this is what the New York Giants have been. This is why they've been one of the worst teams for quite some time now. And I know I haven't shown a lot of emotion. It's just I'm not surprised, ladies and gentlemen, and all Giant fans shouldn't be surprised because this is what it's become as being a New York Giant fan. Like, we have high expectations, and because we are New York fans, and it is New York, and we have high expectations for all of our teams. But we specifically as Giant fans, we're hoping to see, okay, last year coming in, okay, maybe all we needed, I wanted to identify a culture, and we felt like that was going in the right direction with Joe Judge. Now it feels like we're season 2 with this, and we're going backwards in the sense of the undisciplined, the actions, the play, the drops, it just feels like it's going backwards again. And this was a huge, huge game for the New York Giants. I know it was already only week 2, but this was for the taking. And to see them have that taken by them because of their problems, their issues, well, the consequences were shown last night. And that's why the New York Giants now are 0-2. I got to wait 10 more days for their next opponent. Before we get
Joe Judge's press conference, they're getting annoyed too.
Before we get what?
All I'm saying is Joe Judge's press conferences are getting annoying. Stop giving me the same BS. Trev, he's starting to sound like your buddy Aaron Boone.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Aaron Boone, but before we talk about the New York Yankees, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back, and then we'll be talking about another disappointing performance in the New York sports with the New York Yankees.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home service for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside flooding those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free. If you own a business, you know how difficult it can be to get new clients. But what if you had your own sales team? B&I Somerset invites you to join us on Thursday, September 23rd to learn about how B&I Somerset provides a positive, supportive, and structured environment for the development and exchange of quality business referrals. Struggling to find more paying clients or want to take your business to the next level? Our group of business owners have passed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to one another. Want to know how we did it? On Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m., we're hosting an event on Zoom where we show you exactly how B&I Somerset generated client after client for one another and how you could begin to apply the same simple steps to your business too. The reality is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. B&I Somerset is incredible for building your personal brand and ensuring you are known. Join Somerset B&I's Visitor Day on Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. For more info, visit bniwne.com/CT-Northern-Somerset-BNI. Businesses thrive by changing when the world changes, and the world is changing. B&I Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Burn, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting ClovercrestMedia.com.